like, oh, well, Luke and Leia were kind of like really her parents, and it's like, she knew Luke for 10 minutes.
Listen.
She knew him for 10 minutes!
Hey, Shmi was Anakin's mom, but you didn't see her throwing rocks. Like, you didn't see her lifting the rocks with the Force and doing all this crazy shit.
What did Luke... Again, the Yondu joke. Did Luke's Force Ghost look at her and just... Well, that clone old Palps may have been your father, but he wasn't your dad. Is that what happened? And off screen we didn't see, and she's like, oh yeah, I'm a Skywalker.
Yeah, I'm a Skywalker.
Whatever.
Because...
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Tardy to the Party, the weekly podcast centered around news and reviews for the holy trinity of pop culture. Well, maybe a holy duo going forward. We'll see. But yeah, the holy trinity, DC for now, Marvel and Star Wars.
Okay.
I'm your boy, J Sib, and to my left, as always,
KP's here.
And to my right, as always,
Double.
All right, boys. Normally I'd like to ask you how you're doing, but we got a loaded episode this week. So let's just get right to it. Right into DC. Let's go down to the news. Mr. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson finally speaks.
Mr. XFL himself.
It looked like a red carpet. I can't remember what it was for, but basically was asked about the success or lack thereof of Black Adam, and the quote was, all that I could do and that we could do when we were making Black Adam was to put our best foot forward, surround ourselves with the best people, and then deliver the best movie we could. Our audience score was in the 90s. Critics took a couple shots. That's just the business of it, though.
Yeah, that's what he said. I remember this now. All right, yeah, I read that.
And then when kind of asked about, getting Cavill back and that kind of not working out, he basically kind of equated it to a football team saying, quote, it's almost like when you have a pro football team and your quarterback wins championships and the head coach wins championships and you have a new owner and the new owner comes in and says, not my coach, not my quarterback, I'm going to go with somebody new. Interesting, so that's kind of the first time he's kind of come out and kind of
know what he's talking about there, considering my team, except minus, the championships.
Yeah, I don't know where the championship.
That's pretty cool.
I mean, it's not.
But
unless he's referring to, like, Cavill and Snyder, maybe.
I think, that's what I think he's referring to.
But, if he's referring to...
Well, I'll say this, so to relate it, was there ever a changing of top brass during the tenure of, really when we kind of had Snyderverse?
I'm pretty sure, there was, the AT&T buyout, and I can't remember when that exactly took effect, but there's been several, there definitely has been a lead changes constantly within the past DC.
So that's what he's kind of comparing it to, is you get a new regime that comes in and they kind of want to clean slate it.
I mean, that's
and
it was happening again after the whole Snyder thing with Hamada and all them coming in. So then all of a sudden, sold it to Discovery. So now Zaslav and Safran and Gunn come in. So now they're the new head. So makes sense. And honestly, with the way a movie that we're going to review, and I'll get to the numbers later, the way it's doing, sorry Snyderverse fans, I'm with you, but I think it's kind of just proof in the pudding. It's time to just reboot. But kind of moving a little more into the Snyderverse territory, Mr. Ben Affleck, Batflack himself, was in an interview with the Hollywood Reporter, and I'm just going to take a few excerpts out of it. It's a pretty lengthy interview, but it's a really, really good interview.
It was, and I really did actually try to read it all, but then I just got sidetracked and never got back to it, so I'm glad that you did.
In the part of the interview, he's kind of talking about, his new career kind of going forward, and how he's kind of been enjoying making this company with Matt Damon and everything, and then interviewer kind of is like, as opposed to the Justice League experience, Ben Affleck kind of says that the fact that is that those stories became somewhat repetitive to me and less interesting. Yeah, I did finally figure out how to play that character, Batman, obviously, and I nailed it in the Flash for the 5 minutes I'm there. It's really great.
Oh, shit.
A lot of it's just tone. You've got to figure out what's your version of the person, who is the guy that fits what you can do. I tried to fit myself into a Batman, and by the way, I like a lot of the stuff we did, especially the first one, Batman v Superman.
I think he said in this interview, it was kind of like he definitely seemed like just the whole time he didn't like it.
But yeah, so
and didn't he say?
So he kind of moves on to Justice League because the interview goes, but not Justice League. What went wrong there? Justice League, you could teach a seminar on all the reasons why this is how not to do it, ranging from production to bad decisions to horrible personal tragedy and just ending with the most monstrous taste in my mouth. The genius and the silver lining is that Zack Snyder eventually went to AT&T and was like, look, I can get you 4 hours of content. And it's basically, and it's principally just all the slow motion that he shot in black and white and one day of shooting with me and him. He was like, do you want to come shoot in my backyard? I was like, I think there are unions, Zach. I think we have to make a deal. But I went and did it, and now Zack Snyder's Justice League is my highest-rated movie on IMDb.
Yeah.
Hollywood Reporter.
The movie's amazing. Thank you, Ben Affleck.
Thank you, Ben Affleck.
Thank you to both of you goats. Thank you. And then the Hollywood Reporter. Isn't that because Zack Snyder's fans are so intense online? I won't. Actually, I might have to read a good portion of this. Ben Affleck, say what you want. It's my highest rated career movie. I've never had one that went from nadir to pinnacle. Retroactively, it's a hit. All of a sudden, I was getting congratulated for the bomb I'm in, but I was going to direct a Batman, and Justice League made me go, I'm out. I never want to do any of this again. I'm not suited. That was the worst experience I've ever seen in a business, which is full of some shitty experiences. It broke my heart. There was an idea of someone, Josh Whedon, coming in like, I'll rescue you and we'll do a 60 days of shooting and I'll write a whole thing around what you have. I've got the secret. And it wasn't the secret. That was hard. And I started to drink too much. I was back at the hotel in London. It was either that or jump out the window. I just thought, this isn't the life I want. My kids aren't here. I'm miserable. You want to go to work and find something interesting to hang on to rather than just wearing a rubber suit, and most of it you're just standing against the computer screen going, if this nuclear waste gets loose, well, that's fine. I don't condescend to that or put it down, but I got to the point where I found it creatively not satisfying. Also just, you're sweating and exhausted, and I thought, I don't want to participate in this in any way, and I don't want to squander any more of my life, of which I have a limited amount.
Well, damn.
So just took a big poo-poo on the Whedon experience, which, granted, we all kind of know this. If you guys knew the new stuff about his drinking issues and stuff back when all this Justice League stuff was going on.
With everything you just said, I kind of wonder, like, is this where the meme of him standing outside with the cigarette looking up? Was it film in Justice League?
If we can find that, put that shit on here, because I swear to you, I pictured that picture while he was saying this. Like,
that's what I'm saying. Like, is that like where this comes from? Is like it was outside of the set of Justice League. And it's like, holy fuck, I got to deal with this Whedon guy, and this suit is hotter than shit, and it's heavy, and I'm miserable. Which I don't blame him, because like that's all you ever hear about these actors complain about these superhero movies, is that when they mock up the prosthetics, it's like, yeah, this is awful. I mean, I'm sure it is, and that sucks to hear that he had just a horrible time, because honestly, he's one of my favorite actors to play Batman.
Same. And honestly, this is kind of why, and I've kind of been on this for a while, I'm good with the Snyderverse just being gone. Because if Batfleck's not coming, it's not the Snyderverse. You might just reboot it anyway. And he was clearly absolutely miserable playing the role.
From the sounds of it, say Snyderverse
to the point where he basically alluded that he was kind of suicidal. So don't just let him be. He doesn't.
It's crazy for us as everyday. Just real quick, it's just crazy as like an everyday, like. I hate to kind of say this because they are actors are as well, but to say is like, for me as someone who's not in that world, so I almost use the word normal person, but that's not fair to them because they're normal people too. It's just crazy to me how it can affect you in that way because it's all make-believe, but it just... I mean, we saw what happened with Heath, and then to kind of hear him kind of say, like, yeah, I basically went into depression for doing this. I mean, it's very unfortunate.
It's hard to conceptualize from a perspective of somebody that is making millions and millions and hundreds of millions, billions of dollars, that they can have the same type of problems that we have.
Right.
And I mean, obviously, like you just said, they're normal people too.
Yeah, they have
and that's
aspirations
how everyone
and
out
dreams.
there, that's how you know that money
they have
doesn't
creative
buy
itches they want to
happiness.
scratch too.
It's true.
Money does not buy happiness because this guy's got millions of dollars, and sounds like for a while there he just hated his life.
Yeah.
So
well, I mean, even to your point about the cigarette meme, the meme too of the interviews about Justice League before it came out, where Ben Affleck is just staring off and just looks so
drained.
Yeah,
like
just not interested.
He's not there, and now we know he wasn't there.
Yeah.
He was just like, I want to be done with this interview as much as possible. Like I hated this whole time.
But it's good at least he's able to talk about it, because typically if you're in that type of mindset, you're not going to be ready to talk about it until you're at least comfortably through whatever the worst part of it was, which obviously we know what it was.
And you know what? And the thing that I think what he's trying to really say in this article too is like, he learned a lesson to take away from it, because now he's going to start this production company with his best friend, with Damon, so now they kind of know
what not to do.
well, we've been on this side of it, so now we're on the other side of it, so now we know what not to do.
So hey, just trust me, I know the complete opposite approach of what we should do.
Yeah.
I know that much.
I got it.
It's a good place to start.
I know I got at some point in that article too, where he was saying how, like, at one point he said, I think around 2007, he was like, I thought my career was over, but then he made something, and
probably Argo.
I thought that's after, like way after, but you go on with what you want. I'll look that up.
So really the last bit I'm going to pull from this interview was Hollywood Reporter asked him, so if DC came to you now and said, do you want to direct something? Ben Affleck's response, I would not direct something for James Gunn's DC. Absolutely not. I have nothing against James Gunn. Nice guy. Sure, he's gonna do great. I just wouldn't want to go in and direct in the way they're doing that. I'm not interested in that.
Respect.
And when I read that part too, when I read that, I kind of think that, the tone is going to be vastly different.
Very much could be.
Like, he probably agreed to come back and finish what Snyder started, because, like, that's how he also...
So he came back to finish, or to do that scene for Zack Snyder's Justice League, and he came back to do, quote-unquote, 5 minutes season Flash, whether that's 3 minutes or 10 minutes, or he meant it literally 5 minutes, but... and he seemed to actually feel like he nailed the role in that movie. So hopefully that's his send-off. He got to kind of end it on a high note in his eyes, I would hope. And just leave him alone. Just let him direct and be awesome, because he's an amazing director. Sad he's not going to direct a DC property, but
he got $35 million for Batman vs Superman.
So back to the Snyderverse we go.
Into the
Mr. Snyder, you beautiful son of a bitch, you. Why do you do this to me? All right, so he posted something on Vero and Twitter, #FullCircle, a little like 10, 12-second video. I think it's like actually a clip from the Zack Snyder Justice League. But then it goes into a transmission from Lord Darkseid, basically mark the dates, April 28th, 29th, and 30th. And then on Vero, he has posted a few more juicy bits, which I'll show the pictures on here, and I'll try to get the video of the thing too.
Juicy bits.
So at the top it just says Man of Steel, BVS, Zack Snyder Justice League, and then in quotes it says, and then at the very bottom it says April 28th, 29th, 30th, so I'm just going to kind of spoil it. This is going to be like a SnyderCon again. He's probably going to do a fan screening and like director breakdown of Man of Steel on the 28th, BVS on the 29th, and Zack Snyder's Justice League on the 30th. But on the first picture, he put a quote, "Life is a cycle from birth to death to rebirth, and so the hero's journey is a cycle as well, a continuous journey of growth and transformation." Then, like a day later, and that was a picture of Superman. Then this one, the second one was a picture of Batman, or Batfleck, the man. Man of Steel, BVS, Zack Snyder League, 28th, 29th, 30th, ACCD, and then IMAX. So I can imagine that Man of Steel, BVS, regular auditorium, and then they're going to show Zack Snyder Justice League in IMAX, and he put happy JL anniversary, because it's the anniversary of the Snyderverse getting released. And then last one is of Wonder Woman, back in like was it 1858 or 1958 or whatever the fuck it is. Oh, God. That was the first one. Fudge.
You're talking about the World War I photo?
Oh, so 58.
Oh, God.
I don't know what this one is. But, so, quote, "The journey of the hero is about leaving the familiar and entering the unknown. It's about encountering challenges and overcoming them, and it's about returning to the world of the familiar, but now transformed by the experience." So, of course, a lot of people are freaking out and taking that as, oh, return to the familiar. I'm personally... So, what I have heard about this SnyderCon event is...
SnyderCon.
I don't want anybody to get their hopes up, like, at all. What I have heard is it's going to be just like the old Snyder Cuts, or SnyderCons. He's going to do a director breakdown of all of them. He'll have press there. It'll be fundraisers for charity. But what I've heard is it's basically going to end with Zack Snyder saying goodbye to the Snyderverse and basically, I think, kind of nicely calling off the dogs, as it were. Because I'm just letting everybody know he's got way too much going on with Rebel Moon. There's just no way. There's just no shot. There's been no shot at this point.
Because that's not just one movie.
I would like to also harken back to Ben Affleck, who we just talked about. He clearly was miserable. Let him go do his own thing. Just we said it multiple times in the show. We won. Some of you still think you're winning because box office has been trash for our beloved fan base that we all apparently love, but we just don't support because we're so divided and self-mutilating so terribly. But just to kind of, for those Snyder fans that do see this, temper your expectations.
Let the past die.
Just temper your expectations.
Just like those movies
don't think it's going to... Yeah, just...
Yes. Wait, which ones? Oh, all of them. Yeah.
Yes.
Now,
Just
let me put my little Snyder tinfoil hat on for a second.
Where that quote comes from and what we're actually talking about. Just let it all... Sorry.
Let me put my Snyder fan tinfoil hat on for 1 second.
Yeah, we're having a conversation. We're listening to you.
Just because of the history of the Snyder Cons, and usually there is some reveal or a surprise. Mm-hmm. And the way he's kind of going about this, I feel like he will have something up his sleeve. But I'm going to temper those expectations to... It's not restored, sorry. That's not what's going to happen here. I have 3 possibilities that I think could potentially happen if it's not just the goodbye. Starting with what I think is the most likely to least likely. Okay. Number 1, I think there's a pretty good shot and a chance that he could end, and it also fit, he would end the Snyder Cut showing with the Wayne T. Carr's Green Lantern scene instead of the Martian Manhunter scene, which is what it was supposed to be. That personally, would make me
whatever. Yeah.
That personally would make me pop pretty hard just to finally actually see him in the suit.
Pop pretty hard, hell yeah.
So that I think that's
censor that part out for the YouTubes.
What?
You just have to say bricked up.
It's a wrestling term. Hey, make the crowd pop.
Well,
that popped.
Yeah, something popped.
Well, I'm getting old, guys. I'm about to turn 31 in 5 days.
I don't want to hear
brother, we've been there. Well, you've been there, but I've been there.
I'll say, you know.
I do.
Second most likely possibility, I think both these are kind of tied, but this one slightly has a more of a chance. A potential limited theatrical release of the Zack Snyder Justice League. And when I say limited, like limited theaters, like...
Yeah, like we would...
probably not even, like... maybe Bloomington, but most likely Burbs. And I'm saying Bloomington would be our best shot, and I'm only saying that because we get like some of the anime movies that come over here. They're like the one place we can go see them.
Might be a Schaumburg thing to me.
So, really?
Some of them, unless it's Dragon Ball.
I kind of figured that Peoria gets those more than Bloomington, but I mean, I don't know.
It's hit and miss.
But
I don't really pay attention much.
Yeah, it's when I do. Every time I look, they don't. It's not.
Now, before you get into it, is your third theory possible? Like, if it happened, it would break the internet.
I think it potentially.
Twitter would explode.
I think a certain section of the fan base would explode. Yeah,
I'm sure.
A different.
I know what you're gonna say.
Yeah. And it wouldn't
just because it would be kind of poetic,
full circle,
and kind of full circle in a way. And also, the director, Mr. Ayer, retweeted about the anniversary of the Snyder Cut.
They just like.
I still think a long, long shot in the dark, but maybe we could finally get an announcement. And the only reason I think this even has a 0.
Because there's money on the table.
0.1% chance of this actually happening is because David Ayer has been pretty vocal on Twitter lately about his Ayer cut.
Oh, you're going to that? Okay.
Oh, Snyderverse ain't happening. Sorry, that's not
money on the table, baby.
He just okay. I'm sorry.
Walking away from.
He's supposed to be having a 5 to 6 episode, or 5 to 6 movie saga in Rebel Moons, and he just announced that they're building this massive RPG game around Rebel Moons. He's too busy. Leave him alone.
Oh, okay. Well,
that sounds hot.
So I think the third, but least likely, is an Ayer cut announcement.
RPG.
Oh, whoops! Said the F word.
And then
I'm the only one that hasn't yet. What the?
But realistically, a fourth option, which is secretly, which also could go with the Green Lantern scene, is I hope we actually get a trailer to Rebel Moon finally, because I just want that in my veins. Thank you. And then of course on the same day,
see what that's about.
And then of course on the same day as this whole first post about the SnyderCon, James Gunn finally decided to address those Superman directing rumors. Yes, I'm directing Superman Legacy to be released on July 11th, 2025. My brother Matt told me when he saw the release date, he started to cry. I asked him why. He said, "Dude, it's Dad's birthday." I hadn't realized. Ooh. He continues on, "I lost my dad almost 3 years ago. He was my best friend. He didn't understand me as a kid, but he supported my love of comics and my love of film, and I wouldn't be making this movie now without him. It has been a long road to this point. I was offered Superman years ago. I initially said no because I didn't have a way in that felt unique and fun and emotional that gave Superman the dignity he deserved. Then, a bit less than a year ago, I saw a way in many ways, centering around Superman's heritage, how both his aristocrat Kryptonian parents and his Kansas farmer parents inform who he is and the choices he makes. So I chose to finally take on writing the script, but I was hesitant to direct, despite the constant pestering by Peter Safran and others to commit. Sorry, Peter. Just because I write something doesn't mean I feel it in my bones, visually and emotionally, enough to spend over 2 years directing it, especially not something of this magnitude. But the long and short of it is, I love this script, and I'm incredibly excited as we begin this journey. #up, up, and away."
Okay.
Man, he just be ripping through those tweets.
So,
that dude,
dude.
Oh, I have more James. Sorry. Fudge.
Yeah, you
fudge.
I
forgot
your opportunity.
Sorry, this is the news segment. James Gunn Twitter news.
Twitter
that was the first one.
Twitter with Jimmy G.
So I did find it kind of comical that he dropped that on the day of the SnyderCon announcement because everyone was freaking out. And then of course, I guess slight spoilers for Shazam: Fury of the Gods. There's a post-credit scene, and
are we gonna?
We'll just do that's long.
That, right?
That's long. Yeah, but
yeah.
I'll address that later in the spoiler section of the review. And then last thing that James Gunn Twitter news, will put that on the back burner. The next one though is he was asked, "Will you work with Margot Robbie again?" And he replied, "For sure." So he has confirmed that I guess Margot Robbie's coming back, at least whether that is she's still playing Harley Quinn or not. Seems like she's still going to be in the DC. I would imagine she would stay as Harley Quinn. I don't know why you wouldn't keep her as Harley Quinn. let's see. Here's a we do Shazam now. All right, so we can start with. Let's just start with numbers here. This movie's tanking. It's not doing well, despite what we think, which we will get into in a minute. It's opening weekend domestically $30.5 million, which is a 43% drop from the first in 2019, which opened with a $53.5 million opening. So it's actually doing worse than Black Adam right now, I think. I think the only two DC superhero movies that it did better than right now is Super Pets and technically James Gunn's Suicide Squad.
You think that's because of how saturated the market is right now?
No.
I think it's multiple things.
I'll say this, not to cut either of you off. Horrible release time. What's going on right now? Spring break.
True.
Where are all the young people who are the ones that get out and go see movies? They're on a beach.
Schwasted.
Drinking
Borgs.
in
Drinking Borgs and all
TCB
that
or where we're going to be in 2 weeks. You know, they're all down south. They're on beaches. They're not going to see movies. They're on beaches. So this is a horrible release window for it.
And families, even if they're not college kids, families. Family. Man, I can't believe that got put in there. I about lost it. Oh, there it went. There's the third one.
But yeah,
all the families are gone. They're out of town. They're at the beach too.
So I think that's one thing. What do you think?
I think it's lack of faith in the DC product with the way things have been going, the constant changing of what's going on in the universe.
Yeah.
I think,
that
honestly, I think the whole...
That doesn't help the masses that go. Because once they see that...
Gunn coming out and basically saying, yeah, we're rebooting it, has definitely... I mean, because you see it online, there's definitely people that are just like, what's the point? What's the point of me going now?
Seriously?
I don't necessarily 100% agree with that.
Well, we've brought that up and discussed it, and you because I presented that. Like, why do I care? And you're like, well... Have a good time. Go see a movie. Go do something. Get out of your house. Go see a movie. Fair point. That is a fair point. Go see
to movies
something
to hopefully just see a good story.
Yeah,
that's what I went.
There are plenty of all-time great movies that are just solo movies and never have a sequel. So I mean, should we just not go see those movies?
Should be left that way.
But it kind of just to top on like the money. It's sitting at a 53% on Rotten Tomatoes critically, which is a vastly different. I think they were in like the 90s for Shazam 1. But the audience score is 88%. So, yeah, sounds like I'm looking at Rotten Tomatoes about a DC movie. Yep, it's about on par with the numbers we've been seeing. Yeah. And then actually earlier today, the director of the Shazam movies, David F. Sandberg, came out and said, on Rotten Tomatoes, I just got my lowest critic score and my highest audience score on the same film. I wasn't expecting a repeat of the first movie critically, but I was still a little surprised because I think it's a good film. Oh well. As I've been saying for a while now, I'm very eager to go back to horror as well as try some new things. After 6 years of Shazam, I'm definitely done with superheroes for now. Just to be clear, I don't regret even for a second making the Shazam movies. I've learned so much and gotten to work with some truly amazing people. Will forever be grateful that I got to direct 2 of these. They've been very challenging but valuable experiences. One thing I've really been looking forward to is disconnecting from the superhero discourse online. A lot of that stresses me out so much, and it will be nice not having to think about that.
Just dropping like flies.
Anyway. You hear that?
I don't like
you
this.
Toxic.
I was going to say, I don't like this. I feel like the genre's going to die because people are just toxic as shit on the internet.
I'm telling you, dude. And everybody's so accessible, man. Especially with these guys that are just, firing back tweets and responding
I was going to say, that is the downfall of social media and Twitter, is that every access. I have immediate access to this person.
Yeah.
And then even not too long ago, he actually, I guess, just posted a picture of a Reddit article saying David F. Sandberg blames fans on the failure of Shazam. And he tweeted it saying, so that tweet gets turned into this Reddit post, and before you know it, it risks it becoming accepted truth online, and you'll never hear the end of it. Exhausting. Seriously. And I have been pretty easy. The most disheartening thing was seeing comments on Leslie Grace's Instagram going, quote, haha, your movie got canceled, you're not my Batgirl, etc. And this isn't limited to superhero fandom. It's just sad.
It is sad.
Hear that, you toxic little shits?
They're just losers with no life.
Yeah.
They're miserable in their life, and they just got to go make other people miserable.
Dude, the thing is, man, I can't stand it when somebody enjoy a movie.
Will that continue to work?
Uh-oh. Oh, man.
Going.
What?
Technically probably cut out. We're back.
And we're back.
I bet anything.
And we're back.
There's a little bit of choppy chop right there. And it's real abrupt.
My bad. You know what? I'm sick of this free marketing.
Look at you, Dell. Oh my. I was like wondering, I was looking at him just.
And we're back for family.
Family.
Okay.
So what you got, KP, for Marvel? That was my Windows
Remix.
update again, even though it just updated.
Yeah, I got an update. It wants me to reset, but I'm not gonna. Instead, we're gonna talk about Dominic Thorne had an interview with Teen Vogue. It's pretty lengthy, so I'm just gonna cut right into what we care about for this show and talking about Riri Williams. So
We care a lot about Riri Williams.
well, I do. I want it to look better in the show that she is talking about.
Well, maybe she will with one of your future. We'll get to it.
Yeah, we'll get to it. All right. So, when talking about preparation in this interview, she was basically being asked about like what she had to do, and I'll give these actors credit that hopefully more like Dominique here who do this. She deep dives into like source material. She probably gets like a list of source material from whoever's making the movie, I would imagine, when they're like, oh, you don't know shit about the character you're playing? Well, go read all this. So she was saying that, and her quote was, my understanding was that the presentation of Riri in Wakanda Forever and in Ironheart could be drastically different. She said that it was important to her to know the comic book version of the character on an intimate level so she could make the choice to translate the details on the screen.
Good on you.
She says, I can't imagine not taking that time to do a dive, but then at the same time, there's nothing to research. There is nothing to know. You either feel it or you don't. That's sometimes where the magic happens. But when you know what the rules are, it's easier to break them. Like if I was playing someone who's supposed to drown, I want to be the best swimmer in here. Like, okay, so I kind of get it. Okay. But, yeah. So, again, I just kind of cherry-picked this because, it's like, are we going to see, like, her, more of the character development for her, like, what was her home life like in the MCU world, and is she going to act different now after being in Wakanda Forever? Is she not going to be, like, so smart mouth or just so irresponsible with her inventions and stuff? Like, is she going to get a sense of, like, okay, I got to be careful with what I do?
With great power
comes great responsibility.
Roger Berry.
Uncle Ben said that.
What's he a part of? Family.
I got what I wanted, but it did not make me feel better. Anyway, God damn it, I love that movie. All right, I just don't have a lot here. Some other quick things. Coming directly from the direct, they were talking about they were talking with the head writer of the X-Men '97 like cartoon that's coming back on Disney Plus. I don't know. I mean, you guys aren't terribly younger than me, but did you guys ever watch that cartoon when you were a kid? I watched it all the time.
What was it again?
I think I've seen like
the animated
couple
episodes from the 90s.
Yeah.
But no, I never really got super into it. But I think I've seen a couple, but I not enough to remember it.
My brother watched the shit out of it, so I pretty much watched all he did. So
yeah,
but it's been, like I say,
although
yeah,
I might have to now.
Well, because I think they even have the old ones on there, and then
that would make sense.
Yeah, because they have a lot of they have like all the Spider-Man shows and stuff on there.
I used to watch the Spider-Man shows. Those are
I watched
sick.
the one in the 90s.
Yep.
I watched that one a lot.
Those are pretty sick.
So he kind of came here and said, so we're going to be picking up about several months after Professor X left Earth after being shot by Henry, I think that's Gyrich, and had to return to the Shi'ar homeworld to be with Lilandra. So I'm definitely going to need to rewatch these because I don't remember how the hell it ended. And he says that, and what ends up happening is that the assassination attempt has led to a wave of increased sympathy towards mutants and understanding. So it's going to just, obviously, what X-Men always does is kind of explore that whole societal feel of how do they really feel about humanity, or, like, how does humanity feel about mutants and things of that nature. Does it say in here when that's looking to be coming out? Set to drop at some point this year. I mean,
Wow.
yeah, that's kind of news to me. I didn't realize that it was that quick.
Yeah, I thought that was still a ways off. I didn't realize that was going to come this year.
Yeah, me neither.
That's kind of exciting.
Yeah. So
Add it to the review chart.
I was gonna say, I mean, I'm down.
Hell yeah.
Another thing is,
I hope it comes out on Saturday mornings. Bring back the Saturday morning cartoons.
That would be sweet.
Yes, I, as a 31-year-old adult, want to wake up, make my tea or coffee, sit down, watch, watch a little X.
You know what I just pictured? You know what I just pictured in my head is the opening montage of Big Daddy. When he's sitting there on the couch with the bowl of cereal and he's got the milk spilling out of his mouth because he's laughing at cartoons or something.
Yeah, I would just say, I was literally just told, all I was going to add to that was just an unreasonably large bowl of cereal.
Right.
Now that we're...
Speaking of,
Post 30.
Dude, I want to try that, like, that Magic Bowl cereal that's, like, apparently, like, just all protein.
Oh, the
Magic Bowl or Magic Spoon. Yeah.
Well,
I keep getting advertisements for that all the time.
well, not that I'm giving them a free advertisement here, because I'm not. But it's,
yeah, you, dude.
Whoops. It's almost like...
Thanks for not sponsoring.
You ever thought about it? Now you're not.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it
just know
tastes
you
like
can
eggs.
sponsor one of us on the show. You don't have to
Tastes like
sponsor.
It tastes like egg protein.
Oh, so like pure casein.
Pretty much. It's almost like egg whites is kind of what I get from it when I eat those.
I'll just eat eggs then.
Yeah.
All right.
I tried it. Too expensive.
The Cosmic Circus's Alex Perez, who apparently is a well-known industry insider, he did, speaking with the Direct, he said, he asked his followers in a recent tweet, name things they don't expect to do, Marvel Studios do, on the road to the Secret Wars movies. So he said movies, plural. And a follower questioned him and said, like, well, you just use the word movies? Like, is there going to be more than one Secret Wars? And he replied to it with the Stanley Hudson gift of, did I stutter? Like, so I'm just like, so now everyone's like, okay, so are we going to have parts 1 and 2, which, let's be real, probably will, because Feige, I don't know if he's directly said it, but they basically have alluded to how they want to beat out Endgame. Well, originally it was one movie, and then it became 2, because you have 30 to 50 actors in one movie. So I could see the same thing happen with this.
Yeah.
But I kind of thought that was the whole point of having the one is Kang Dynasty and the other is Secret Wars.
That's kind of what I thought. Yeah, I'm in the same boat as you. I thought that was the whole point of Kang Dynasty. I thought Kang Dynasty was supposed to be Infinity War, or yeah.
Well, like Secret Wars Part 1.
Yeah,
but there's calling it Kang
and
Dynasty.
then
That's
Secret
how
Wars
I
would
kinda
be
see it.
Endgame, but whatever. If they're just basically like, Feige's like, we got too much hotness in one movie, split it. All right,
I'm on board. Sign me up. Take my money.
Yeah, so that's interesting. Just one little quick thing to bring up to you. So, and then before kind of like two more quick things. I'm probably butchering her name, but I think it's Charlene Woodard is going to be the actress playing Priscilla Fury in Secret Invasion, so she will be Nick Fury's wife, which then makes me realize that the MCU is going to kind of explore the background of who is Nick Fury when he's not a super spy for the universe.
Hell yeah.
Like, you know, we get to look to see a nice little look into old Nick's home life.
Yeah, man. Does he?
You know,
There's questions I gotta know. Does he get coffee in the morning or tea?
Yeah.
Which kind of guy is he?
Yeah.
Is he a donut guy? Does he mow his own grass, or does he pay somebody to do it? Imagine he pays somebody to do it. Or is he just a man of just like, you know what?
Well, if
I
he's
like
at
mowing
the
my own
sword,
grass.
if he's at the sword installation, then he's obviously paying someone to mow his grass, right?
Oh yeah, that's right. He's
Or
Or a mothership or something. Or wherever
I
that
wonder if the movie's going to explore the fact that, like, the real Nick Fury was on a space station way out in nowhere, and meanwhile the Nick Fury on Earth was really a dude named Talos, who's a shape-shifting alien. So, like, his wife's going to find that out and be like, what the F, Nick? Again, these are the important questions in the MCU.
He was letting the shapeshifter just smash, huh? That's kind of messed up.
All for his country, for the world,
And family.
for
For the
family.
universe. For the universe. Jesus.
I give up my family for family.
Why'd you let him do that? For family. We are your family. The other family. Family's family.
Alright, special shout out, Black Panther. It won the Oscar for Best Costume Design.
I think that's 2 in a row that she's won, right?
Part of me chuckled because of how much and it deserved it. We trashed the Ironheart suit, but yet they won that. But they definitely won that because of Talokan.
That would not be.
No.
I would argue.
No.
I would argue Ironheart suit is not on the costume department because that's not a costume. That's a VFX suit. That's not on her.
Right.
She is a two-time award-winning costume designer. All right.
2 times.
I think she's like the first black woman in history to win like 2 Oscars too. So kudos. She's a baller. Okay.
Baller.
I've seen her in an interview. She's a sweet lady.
All right.
Yeah, that's basically like back-to-back movies, and also that she won Oscars.
That's legit, though.
She also won it for the first Black Panther. Yeah, so don't you put that on her, Ricky Bobby.
Okay,
Black
take it
magic.
back. Take it back.
Tom Cruise.
All right, now the big news. So we're recording here on a Monday evening because we all had busy weekends. So the big news that came out today: Victoria Alonso, who started as a VP in the effects department back in 2005 for Marvel Studios. She went through the ranks, really I think just got the one promotion or whatever, but eventually she became the president of the physical, post-production, visual effects, and animation of Marvel Studios. That's my stomach.
Hey.
The first report today was that she has just left the company. 2 hours ago,
Just bounces.
a senior reporter, Chris Lee, for New York Magazine, has tweeted out, "So many VFX sources have told me that Victoria Alonso is singularly responsible for Marvel's toxic work environment. A kingmaker who rewarded unquestioning fealty with an avalanche of work, but who also maintained the blacklist that kept FX pros wild-eyed with fear."
Whoa.
Goes on to say she held a crazy amount of power, bigfooting all major creative decisions on Marvel movies and shows. He has a quote here that's from an anonymous tech.
Oh.
Kevin Feige and Victoria Alonso personally approve every single shot. All the visual effects work, which is usually the job of a director or a showrunner. One tech told me. Then he has another quote from another anonymous tech. "The main one that everyone's quite scared of is Victoria Alonso. If she likes you, you're going to get work and you're going to move up in the industry. If you have pissed her off in any way, you're going to get frozen out." Well, if this stuff is all true, I think we can directly relate it to the fact that the effects in Phase 4 were all pretty shoddy on most of the movies and in the television shows. Number 2, the whole excerpt there about how Feige and Alonso personally approve every single shot. Well, when you have a shot in She-Hulk where Feige's this robot that's overseeing the whole entire thing and he's kind of psychoanalyzing it, which apparently he must not care that was maybe a behind-the-scenes shot at him, that he basically probably just doesn't care. So he's like, well, what I made worked. I mean, look how all the money I made with this franchise, so... It's very, very interesting, and it does seem like it's kind of crazy and sudden.
Yeah, who's walking away from that?
So, yeah, did they specify if she just resigned, or, well, guess it doesn't matter.
See, that's the thing. Is it one of these, like, in the public eye, and for what we're going to say...
Stepped down.
Yeah.
She stepped down, but in reality... It was a closed room with a board or Iger, and they were like, "Yeah, you're fired." They were like,
"We need to make a change," and you're it.
Yeah.
Can I get a little space, please? No, you can stay. No, you can stay. You all you guys on that side of the table can say. You can just go.
Well,
you can just go.
Not you. You go.
I mean, you can go.
Mark, can you get her things, please?
The classic Austin Powers, Mini-Me, and Dr. Evil scene. It's getting a little crowded in here. Mini-Me's the only one that kicks out.
You stay.
He's like, you two crew member arbitrarily pressing buttons and pulling levers.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, MC Direct just said that she departed.
That's big, though.
Big time.
So, hey, potential improvements to the Ironheart suit? No more Power Ranger?
I think so.
Unless Feige's still got his thumb on everything. I mean that part would have to change, too.
Feige's earned his trust at this point.
Well, sure.
So,
but what are the showrunners involved directly? You know?
We gave you a phase of poo-poo. We put up for your phase of filler.
Here's your caca poo-poo.
No, you have to deliver on this phase. He fails this phase.
Yeah,
he's back on. Then he's questionable. You know, maybe he needs to go.
It kind of seems to be adding up with all of the visual effects stuff that has been coming out over the months. You know, the whole like.
Well, look at Quantum Mania.
I was gonna say. I mean, we've actually have seen how bad it's been, but then when they're saying like, yeah, it's bad because we had all these projects dumped on us, and now Disney realizes like, oh, crap. The people we're selling this to were looking at it and they're like, yeah, this looks like shit. So now they're cleaning it up.
Well, think about not too long ago, but I think we talked for a long period of time about how the industry has been completely bottlenecked by all those different projects.
Well, I think that's because of this one place.
Bingo.
And we're finding out
why.
Yeah.
All comes
and
to
honestly, another kind of piece of this puzzle. Well, it came out the other week that his Star Wars project got axed. Mm-hmm. Well, why did it get axed? Because you need to get your butt back over to Marvel Studios and clean it up, because you've got a visual effects president that's making people work 80 hours a week, and it still looks like crap when we put it out in the theater. And we're getting ripped apart on it, on all of our fans and everyone, which we can't have, because we need to make another $100 billion on Avengers.
Yeah.
It's literally it's the mouse.
Think of the merchandise.
We got a fucking problem here.
Just because it was Mickey Mouse, we're letting that one slide.
Talk to me.
And I'm quoting South Park.
Yeah. Don't talk to me.
Go out there and make me some money.
Yeah, your job. Yeah, I'm not going to say the rest of that quote.
There's several I can't say in that.
I might have to. I have to just bleep the whole sentence.
And that's really all I kind of had on Marvel. That's it. Just, I'd say that the future looks like well, we're not going to get stuff originally as planned. They've already been delaying the crap out of a lot of things. But
thanks, Blade.
Oh, I did. Oh my god, you said that. That just made me realize I didn't write this down. So I've been seeing that apparently Kit Harington's role as Black Knight in that movie is going to be taking, like, that's another reason why that movie is taking its time. Is the rumors floating around that Kit Harington was supposed to be like a big character, like maybe like almost as like a co-main in the movie, and then like Marshala didn't like that. He wants to just be the star, and so like now they're like cutting down Kit Harington and Black Knight's like involvement in the movie. Because I mean, it's at the Eternals credit scene. Mm-hmm. They were clearly setting it up. Like I think by now we were supposed to have the Blade movie.
Yeah,
but it just kept getting delayed and delayed and delayed. So
they scrapped the script at one point, didn't they?
Well, and that's where this rumor's coming from. Is that like was it because like it's coming out that now apparently like Kit Harington's role in Blade is going to be severely reduced, and people are like, oh, so was it like was it supposed to be like a Blade and Black Knight movie? Like, yeah, it's Blade, but was Black Knight supposed to be in it the whole time? And like Kit Harington's Dane is like figuring out how does he become Black Knight in the movie, and Marshala just was like, no, I don't want that. I want like the movie to be really about Blade.
Yeah.
Because the other big thing is people were saying that outside of Shang-Chi, if you think about it, and maybe Spider-Man as well, the other Marvel movies that have come out, like, yeah, it's this character's movie, but the focus is on this other, like, Doctor Strange. It's a Doctor Strange movie, but the focus was on Wanda.
Right. True. That's true.
Thor kind of had more of a split. It's like it's Thor, but the focus is kind of on mighty Thor, Jane Foster.
Yeah.
Wakanda forever, but the focus is on Namor and Ironheart.
Well, that's the thing. That's the problem. With Phase 4, it was just all about, and I get it. You got to set up the next generation.
They want to
heroes,
set up more characters.
But yeah, I mean, at the same time, when you're going there to see, whoever Thor. And even though it's not really about them, it's more about another character, and it's just kind of like
even Black Widow. And granted, the time of that the movie takes place in between Civil War and Infinity War, but Black Widow, the main character is Black Widow, but the movie's really about finding out who the little sister is.
Yep.
I mean, shoot, I'll say it. Almost every episode of She-Hulk. It was basically about some cameo coming in and somebody else. It wasn't really about She-Hulk most of the time. Like, it was a struggle to make it about.
And then they made a joke.
And then they make a joke about it. So it was just...
Yep.
So... Yeah!
So She-Hulk was really self-referential.
Yeah, it's not like they can't see it.
All right. Fully done.
Do you have news topics for Star Wars?
I do.
All right. I'd say let's do that. Cut the video, switch the bats, go into reviews.
All right, so obviously we'll start out with the only real bad news. Obviously, not a huge name in the Star Wars world, but Paul Grant at 56 has passed as of I think it was a couple hours ago to this show.
Oh wow!
He played one of the Ewoks in Return of the Jedi. And so obviously, not a prominent character, but still a legendary character nonetheless.
Hey. He sold a lot of merch. Okay,
facts. That's facts.
He made a lot of money for Disney.
The battle on Endor would not have been successful without the help of the Ewoks. Okay,
no, this is true. This is true.
Yeah, that's really sad. Rest in peace.
Yep. R.I.P. to one of the many legends on Star Wars, the classic Star Wars sets, not the more new ones, but other news a couple days ago was. Revealed that the Everything Everywhere All at Once directors are going to be directing at least one episode of the new series Skeleton Crew. For those of you who haven't heard of Skeleton Crew, again, to wrap that up, is all we know really at this point is Jude Law is going to be the star. It's going to take place in the New Republic era, and it's about a whole bunch of missing kids finding their way through the galaxy.
Get it in my veins.
Yeah, I mean, especially with all the accolades that those directors have been getting.
My veins.
Shit, I hope they do more than a few episodes.
I know.
They won every Oscar.
I know. And
I legitimately saw the results of the Oscars. I was like, okay, I guess I need to watch this movie.
Yeah, and the fact that they're stepping in to Skeleton Crew at this point, and especially.
Don't get me wrong. Obviously, I love this. Well, the first two trilogies of the Star Wars saga, the Skywalker saga, we'll call it. But man, I could get some flack for this, but I'm kind of sick and tired of the Skywalker saga. I'm kind of just sick and tired of it. I would like them to explore the Old Republic, the High Republic. There's so many more times in this vast lore fucking pit that you have in Star Wars. Dude, just go to other things. I'm tired of this. If you guys are going to resort to somehow Palpatine has returned and then set up 5 or 6 series on Disney Plus so that you can then retcon everything for that trilogy to actually line up and make sense, let's just go somewhere else and stay away from the Skywalkers. If you can't actually,
there's this guy. His name's Takia.
It's not his name.
Whatever it is.
Taika Waititi.
Waititi. Well, I mean,
apparently he's going to do that for us.
Well, that's. I mean, the only way that anybody even thinks that is because basically it looked like the intro, the drawn intro of his possible movie looked like Third Rock from the Sun. I mean, honestly, that's really the only reason why. I mean, it looked like the intro scene from that with the old kind of Star Wars in stone in the back. That's really the only indication that he's doing something pre-Skywalker saga, but. If there's somebody that's going to do it, it can't be him. I mean, just because of the time period, even his directorial style, the way that he likes to everything to be kind of in your face, bright, it just wouldn't work. His style to me just wouldn't work with a Star Wars movie. But I said that since the start. I don't think it just doesn't work tone wise in the way that he works. To me, it doesn't work.
Who was the... Oh, it was, the Daniels. That's huge, though, that the Daniels are going to direct an episode of Skeleton Key. Because obviously their career is just on fire. Right. In the best way.
And especially with how busy they're going to be here soon.
Oh, yeah. Well, they're at the point now where they can just go, yeah, we can do whatever we want.
Yeah. Damn right.
We can do whatever we want.
And that's why I'm happy with the one episode instead of, because at first I'm like, I could direct them all. I'll take it. Just give it to me, But now I'm just happy they're doing at least one. That's all I know. At least one.
That's really cool. I wonder if it'll be... I wonder if it's the premiere or maybe the finale. That'd be interesting.
Oh, yeah.
I wonder just what episode. That'll be interesting to see where they end up falling in.
Well, I think that they're they're going on the right track because I think a lot of Star Wars shows, especially with Andor, people didn't know what the hell they were getting themselves into. So obviously it wasn't well received a ton initially, because you're like, what are we?
And they were all wrong.
Agreed. However, with the what I mean with this is bring on a big name for a big pop for an opener to bring in that attention, and they do it well, and then the rest of the series will carry itself. And that's typically with Star Wars projects how it goes, because if they're shit in the beginning, they're going to get picked apart like the fans are going to be like vultures on every show if it doesn't hit when it starts. Because, even with us, when we watched Bad Batch, it just didn't hit in the beginning like we're used to, and it kind of drug on. And then now we're coming back, but they can't have that with these tiny episodes. That's pissing people off. I'm stopping what I'm doing to watch this 27-minute episode that's nothing.
I feel like they have to realize it with how poorly received, overall, I would say Kenobi and Book of Boba Fett. And honestly, I don't know if you guys have seen this, Mando's Season 3 numbers, viewership is, down, massively.
Yeah,
But is that because of those two that you just named, and people are just kind of getting burnt out because they're like, well, I'll just binge it because it's not as hype as it once was.
Right, and to our point that we've talked about a bunch before, when you look at all these fucking series, I forgot where I'm going with this really, but I lost it. Damn it.
Casually flips the Z.
I fucking lost it. That's why I flipped it.
Well, maybe it'll come back to you. What else
Anyway,
you got?
anyway, we go back to the rumor we just talked about before we started. Fenn Rau
Oh, yeah.
coming back possibly in live action with Kevin McKidd.
Yeah.
I mean, like you say, rumors are
Well,
what
I
they
Googled
are.
it before we got on here, and, apparently that guy's also in Grey's Anatomy, so that's naturally all the hits I get is about crap with that show, and I'm like, oh, cool, that's not what I Googled, but alright.
Right. And then last news point before we switch out the battery is there was actually some news last week, not really anything crazy, but it's a possibility that there could be a large crossover event between Mando, Ahsoka, Skeleton Crew, and Book of Boba Fett.
I mean, if there's not, what is this all been for?
Star Wars Avengers. Yes!
Let's fucking go.
Let's go! Make a 2-hour movie.
Or
Fuck yeah.
Netflix's Defenders.
Fine, that too. Do that. All of that. Do it.
Yeah.
Just do it already.
And of course, wouldn't come without saying it did come from Filoni. It says, I think that the reality of there being a big event in this time period is very real, and that is all I would have to say about that.
I mean, what has this all been for? If we're not at least getting one big crossover event, you know?
And they're already kind of touched
Big
on
event.
everybody.
I'll say they've kind of had
anyway.
certain
The big-
characters
the-
touched, so
Dude, to have Ahsoka and Luke.
Like I said, just lead it into the point where Ben Solo betrays him. Just lead it all to that. Retcon your trash trilogy you gave us and save it, and then we'll all do the same thing we did with that prequel trilogy. You're forgiven. Because you have all this other shit I love that I just can't get enough of that validates your trilogy.
You know, if they do it, so be it.
Exactly.
they've already done it once.
They've already done it. They've done it, and they've done it well. And
They have.
so, if you can, great. But otherwise, just
Otherwise, that trilogy sucked, and you better fix it
dude.
by exploring the world between worlds.
Well, obviously that's gonna happen, because multiverse. But no, I think obviously they know where they're going with it, and they're gonna make a big jump. They're gonna use the time frame as they're gonna be their retcon. So they're gonna have all these characters that should be in the prominent roles, but now, oh nope, it's 20 years now. It's 20 years down the road, because. I mean, like we talked about, if they flash forward and Rey is a protector of a temple in the sacred texts, and that's it, sweet.
Oh, are you talking about the new movies that they want to make?
New, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'd be fine with that.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't even care if it's like a 10-year time jump, just because Daisy Ridley's a little older, and I believe she would like to come back and play the character.
She said she would be open to it.
Yeah.
To talking to him. I know that...
Might be changed, though, now, because her career has struggled since these have been over with.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But she's in some movie that got a lot of attention recently, and, like, her performance in it was, like, really, really well done. I can't remember what that is, but...
Well, if her career's actually slowing down, more reason to go get that Star Wars money again,
Oh, yeah, but some people don't want to only be
back in
known
the
for one
limelight.
role.
Well, I think the problem is she's only known for that role, and
That's what I mean.
and it was not well received whatsoever. So even
Yeah, but it wasn't
even-
her fault.
No, you're right. She's
Oh,
the
it wasn't
she's the
her
victim.
fault.
She's the victim of circumstance. She's the victim of
Poor writing.
poor writing and also Star Wars culture.
Because that's the sad
Well,
part. I
yeah.
actually like Daisy Ridley. Like, anytime I've seen her in an interview, she seems like such a sweetheart. Really cool, but yeah, no, the
She seems like
writers
she's pretty down
the
to
writers
earth.
did her dirty. So I always kind of feel bad for Daisy Ridley.
I
on
never
how
had a
much-
problem with
on
that
how much
either.
Ray the character gets crapped on, because I don't think it's her fault at all. But see, you guys seem to agree. So
Yeah, I've never had him. I've
I'm just
never really
preaching
had
to a
him.
different audience right now.
Right. Well, yeah, we know you're out there.
Yeah,
We know you're out
Ray is horribly written, and yeah, we know you're out there, and you're going to tell me I'm wrong, but I'm not. I'm right. No character should just in a finger snap be more powerful than like 20 Jedi that were amazing in the Prime Day. But whatever.
You're blowing fucking.
Like I said, the only thing I've ever said that at least they didn't have the audacity to make her so stupid overpowered where she would have been like Yoda. Like, honestly, that probably would have just broken it for Star Wars fans that are the diehards. Like you and I, if you saw her ass fighting Palpatine in that last movie and she just palmed the Force lightning in her hand, I would have went ballistic. I've been like, no, this chick is not, in the span of like a year, just way more powerful than Yoda.
Bro, they made her a Skywalker.
But I'll just say that. Like, at least they didn't go that far. But
not even no. Like, you can't just. You know what? There's a lot of things in this life you can change. Going from a Palpatine to a Skywalker is not something that you can just willy-nilly do.
Yeah, that was... I still just don't... I mean, I get it. It's like, oh, well, you know, Luke and Leia were kind of like really her parents, and it's like, she knew Luke for 10 minutes.
Listen.
She knew him for 10 minutes!
Hey, Shmi was Anakin's mom, but you didn't see her throwing rocks. Like, you didn't see her lifting rocks with the Force and doing all this crazy shit.
What did Luke... Again, the Yondu joke. Did Luke's Force Ghost look at her and just... Well, that clone old Palps may have been your father, but he wasn't your dad. Is that what happened? Then off screen we didn't see, and she's like, "Oh yeah, I'm a Skywalker."
Yeah, I'm a Skywalker.
Whatever.
Because Force Ghosts look at me in the desert. God. Anyway.
Oh my God, that's the other thing. Why is Leia a Force Ghost? She gave up and left. You can't tell me.
Well, with the Force Ghost aspect, depends on what your
honestly, really, I think
is.
With that, while Filoni provided a background as to how they got to that point, that's also the bad part in that, because it's like, okay, so Yoda got training, Obi-Wan got training to be one, but just magically, just Anakin's one, and Leia's one. Like, Luke, I won't rule out. Like, Luke probably just got trained eventually.
I mean, he spent a lot of time with Obi-Wan.
Yeah, Obi-Wan and Yoda. But yeah, I don't know.
Nope, just happens now.
Sorry, we've ranted again.
Anakin's the midichlorian count. That's why.
Well, Anakin was created by Plagueis, so...
True.
He was literally created by Plagueis.
Yeah.
And I think they pretty much did all but confirm that in Revenge of the Sith.
I was going to say, it's pretty much... I mean, the look that he gives them, it's pretty much there.
You manipulate the midichlorians to create life.
And he just
looks right at him.
Looks right at him, and he's just like, get it? Genius?
You are a pawn. Yes. And I've created you.
Right.
Yeah. But outside of that, back to what I did forget what I was going to say earlier.
Awesome. Glad the rant triggered that.
It did. It gave me some time.
Yes.
But I think all the shows that we're getting and the fatigue that we're getting is going to be even more so when you think about what Star Wars wants you to do. They want you to watch A to get show B, to get show C, to get show D, to also get show B1A and B1A2. Like B.
You're talking, yeah.
I still, for the life of me, can't understand or grasp the concept that they were like previously on Mandalorian to start season 3. They just didn't mention the fact of the 2 episodes of Book of Boba Fett just at all.
Because, bro, you're just supposed to watch that.
Yeah,
you didn't watch Book of Boba Fett, bro?
Like it's like they choosingly leave out the most important parts because, you don't get this? Yeah, because you didn't watch anything else. You know, like that's kind of how it feels, and that's what they're doing with the book. I mean, I wish I would say like it's just an opinion, but no, this is exactly what they're doing.
Yeah, that's something that's definitely different between Star Wars and like Marvel. Like Marvel, there's some elements that, yeah, maybe if you didn't see this, you won't quite catch it in this. But for the most part, you can go into a Marvel movie at any point and just, you can understand what at least that movie's about and come out having a good time.
Yeah, Star Wars not so much.
Granted, Star Wars, you kind of can.
You can.
Guess, but I feel like you're missing a lot more nuances with Star Wars.
I guess with Mando, you can kind of toss it up that there is a time skip between the end of Season 2 and Season 3.
Mm-hmm.
so you can kind of, as the audience member, think like, oh, okay, he eventually just came back to him. Oh, whatever. I don't know.
That seems like a pretty big
But they
thing.
don't make the time skips really apparent in the show.
No, they don't. That's the problem.
No,
you have to listen to an interview with the creators to know that there was a time skip.
Right,
exactly. It's like
That's
Grogu trained for 2 years with Luke.
Right.
He trained for 2 full years.
Yeah.
And like
you don't get that from the show.
No. All I got was him training with the blaster orb. You know, like that's day one stuff. You know, like they had Luke with the blaster shields down.
Oh, isn't this cute? This is the first time we saw Luke train, but now he's training. Oh.
And that's nice. However, then you can't have later in the episode go, I'm just going to crush it because I'm too tired of dealing with it. But then again, they also kind of explain that away too, because he'd been trained for all those years in the Jedi Temple and he's just remembering now. So it's kind of hard to zero in on how much he should and shouldn't know, you know.
Right.
But as far as Star Wars news, I think that wraps it up. We're going to take a quick break and then we'll circle back with Mando, Batch, and what else we got?
So this wraps
Shazam!
Sorry, I got to straight because it's like, and this ends part 1 of episode 29.
Yeah. How far we've come now. All right. We are back from our break and fresh battery, so we are back into the Star Wars, getting into the Bad Batch.
The Batch.
Obviously, this one was really far away, so I had to refresh before we started today.
Yeah, this one was rough to remember.
Yeah,
this one almost a week.
Yeah, I mean, shoot, when we record on Mondays, like we were saying, it's like everything's so far removed that it's hard to recall everything, but...
yeah, like I forgot we had another show that we had a certain finale that we have to review.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like, oh, we didn't review that yet?
So that was 2 Sundays ago. Jesus.
But, yeah, the Batch. What happened this week, Bull?
Well, we obviously are coming onto this strange land that we've never seen before. It looks like more or less the vast majority of the show, rather, is about, what's it, Pabu? Isn't that what it's called? Or something. I can't remember exactly what they called it.
Yeah, and we just rewatched it.
I know. We're just trash. We're trash.
Hold the tongue. Hold it.
And, but, basically kind of like a utopian society, supposed to be perfect, and then we find out that it's not. I mean, honestly, this episode, to me, overall, meh. Kind of existed.
It says the young people say mid.
Mid.
They, yeah, it's okay. It was icky. That's what it was. But it did set up a new romance that kind of further drives home a theory that I had going forward. So, yeah, it was just, I guess, I mean, you have any thoughts before I guess we talk any spoilers about it?
Mid-episode kind of felt like filler after we just got some really good stuff that was going on with the Empire.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Kind of over these.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. Disney, if you're going to make these 16-episode seasons...
1 or 2's okay.
Not 6. Not 7.
Yeah, not like
See, I'm yawning talking about your boring-ass episode.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, literally the most exciting part of this episode is when they're shooting at each other when, you know, obviously Sid is finding out that the Bad Batch isn't working for them anymore because of how crappy her payouts were and all this other stuff.
Yeah, I'm just really tired of these, like, mildly entertaining stories that kind of...
It's weird. Cause like,
kind of progress the story, but not really. It's just, like, I'm kind of over it. Get it? Like, once again, I keep saying this. I get it. It's a kid's show. Probably shouldn't... Probably shouldn't...
on Wednesday.
Probably shouldn't, like...
Yeah.
Hate on it too much. But... Yeah, I'm kind of with KP. Honestly, if we weren't, like, this far into it... And if we weren't doing this podcast, probably would have tapped out of that show.
Yeah, same. And that's sad.
And that really hurts because the Batch, as like characters, I really, really like them.
I probably would have waited just to binge it when it was over.
Yeah, that's
or
fair.
that.
That's fair. That's probably more or less.
That actually probably is fair. Because
there
are enough great episodes. The ones that do hit hit.
Oh yeah.
And you're just like, oh yeah, this is what I watched this for. But you
Yeah.
have, it's basically Naruto, man. Just so much filler, just grinding. Hotness, yeah, grinding.
That is exactly why I will probably never watch that anime.
And that's why I tapped
Yeah,
out of Naruto. And they're like, oh, we'll just go to ship it in. Nope, done.
Yeah,
nope,
I
nope.
hear
There's not as much.
all the
Nope,
time.
nope,
all
nope.
the time.
Done.
All the time I hear, no, Naruto, oh yeah, I mean, it's not as bad, but it's good, and the shipping's awesome. It's like, I'm not, no. I did that. I put my time in with Dragon Ball Z when I was a kid, and that's, you know, all that. I went through it with other animes. Like, I don't want that anymore. I just want...
Let's get to the hotness.
Just give me what the author wrote in the manga and be done with it. Like, yeah, it's taken him 10 years to get here, but My Hero's amazing, and it basically is only stuck to what the author wrote for the most part. There's probably some filler in there, but...
Once again, goes back to 1 or 2 is okay.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's just the sad part about it, is that we've come so far from the main storyline. I hate to say it, but they should have just called it after season 1 like I thought they were going to initially.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're turning now it seems like when they all got together, all the great minds, and they're like putting this story together, and they're like, all right, this is what's going to happen. We're going to use this avenue with these characters to explore this part of Star Wars history that we haven't really touched on before. What happens to the clones? Okay, well, Order 66 happens early last season. Now we're out here. It's exciting. You're seeing all these new places. You're seeing these familiar faces. Okay, we're starting to run out of things to do here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they keep stretching and stretching. I'm like, dude, if they came out and said, "Oh, can't wait for season 3," I'd be like, "What are you gonna talk about?
What's it gonna be about?"
I know.
You know?
My follow-up question would be, did you please cut it down to like 8 episodes and just get rid of all the stupid filler ones? No?
Yeah, I swear.
Yeah, I'm binging it then.
Yeah, this isn't Clone Wars worthy. You know, like, obviously we have 10 million seasons of 2 million episodes. You know, like, I can go out there and rewatch that again and be satisfied. This, just call it. I hate to say it.
I mean,
it's got good stuff.
It's got to finish really, really, really strong at this point for me to care about another season at all.
Oh God, I don't even think I possibly
because at this point I kind of just don't.
I mean, I think it's gonna...
Because honestly,
I think they're just gonna say. I think honestly, the end of the season is gonna be what you're saying. I think a team member is gonna leave, but I also think they're gonna end up saving Crosshair again, and Crosshair's now is just gonna finally come back to the team.
And honestly, that's kind of the moment I've been waiting for this whole series anyway. Is Crosshair just coming back and to the light? So, kind of in a way, for me, my story as far as the batch goes and what I mainly care about, it's done after this. If that's what happens, then so yeah. If they don't if they really don't get me interested in a season 3, I might just tap out and just be like, you know what I wanted out of this story is done. Mm-hmm. You guys haven't shown me anything interesting enough consistently for me to really care to invest this time anymore.
So, and there hasn't.
Granted, we're probably still gonna watch it anyway.
There's not. Yeah, there's not been really any too much of a relationship building between Omega and Hunter or Wrecker this season, because we got it with the first season, but this season it seems like, I don't know, maybe like Echo seems a little more important, and I think she's kind of learning from him. So what I see happening is your theory about Echo will leave, then Omega.
Tech, because Echo already left.
But she has gotten closer with both of them this season. Earlier it was Echo, and then most of it has been Tech.
Had them switched because they're essentially the same character.
Pretty much.
I mean, whatever. But all right, so Tech. So she's gotten a lot closer with Tech and trying to understand Tech and vice versa. So to me, Tech will leave, probably. Omega will fill his role, and then Crosshair will just come back, so then there's still 4 of them. That's my theory at this point, as I can see where it's going.
I would be.
Hopefully, you prove me wrong, so it's actually interesting to me.
Yeah, I mean, the only way I think that they can spin this to make it a little bit more interesting is I think using Crosshair as a solo character might be something that they can do with a short animated series.
Well, and really,
I mean, the
I wish that's just what
awesome.
they did with this season.
Yeah.
Like we've had just like the 2 episodes with him.
Yeah.
I wish you would have just explored more into him and split the time between the Batch team and then what Crosshair's up to, not Batch, pointless mission, awesome Crosshair episode. Then Batch, pointless mission, awesome Crosshair episode. They should have, I think, just evened it out, and
they are really guilty of this like old trope that TV shows used to have of like giving you a hot episode, ending on a cliffhanger of like, oh, next week's gonna be hype, and then you get a filler episode next week, and it's like you almost got to wait a week or 2 before you actually get the answer to that. And so it's like, yeah, Crosshair's captured. He's they're gonna try to get to him to get to the Batch, yada yada, and Omega, among with the scientist and the Kaminoans. I can't remember the leader or whatever, him coming in and whatever. They have all this set up, like, oh boy, and it's just another filler. It's just like, God, like, stop. Like, this is like an old trope that I remember like watching of TV shows like growing up. Like, stop this. There's a reason that people went away from it. Like, it's terrible.
It's like getting you.
It's such a buzzkill when you're so excited to go in and you're like, finally. Especially with this show where we've kind of been struggling. It's like, okay, finally. They're probably going to start rearing up and ending this season strong. It's like, oh, nope, surprise. Not really.
Here's your shit episode before I
random meaningless episode about
basically what I got out of this episode.
Giving a background to a new character that we've only had one whole other episode on.
Well, she's going to be the new Sid. So yeah,
pretty much, yeah.
And she's also Tech's new love interest, which once again I think Tech's dying, so that's probably just to pull at the heartstrings and make it even more tough. As Tech finds love before he dies. Like I said, just theory. But
would make sense for his development, though.
And then
actually have some relationships outside of his computers.
Like, other than that, all I can think of is this episode was just also like kind of carried over the theme that they want to give like the Batch wants to give Omega like a better normal life, and I can't remember what Wanda Sykes' character's name is in the show, but she kind of alluded to that too. Again, like she needs to play with people her own age and just just be a kid. So it's like that's the only other like overarching thing about that. This episode's kind of like pointless. Don't really care.
They all go to an island.
Changing my score 5.
They think it's beautiful. They think it's perfect, and then a storm surge comes in, and they have to get everybody up to the top of this little.
Well, so yeah, what happens is they say a tremor, so there's an earthquake that causes a tsunami, almost kills all of them.
Yeah, and
isn't exactly paradise after all.
Yeah, and I'm like, I mean, okay. So you mean to tell me that this entire episode was about how even when you think you found a place that's good, it's shit? Like, I didn't need 30 minutes for you to tell me that. Like, like you could have literally they could have been flying over this place, and then they look down, they're like, oh, that looks nice, and then just boom, just get smacked by a tsunami, and they're like, oh man, see, can't be fooled, can't be tricked, and then just keep on going and find Crosshair. It's, I mean, you literally, like, that entire message was just completely unnecessary. So
I'm just interested in how this plays out. I imagine they're going to save Crosshair again, because why? Otherwise, why do we care what's going on with Crosshair? So, yeah.
Yeah, but you changed your score to a 5, you said?
Yeah, mid episode. Yeah, 5. I didn't say a score, but that's absolutely correct.
Yeah, we haven't finished the review yet, so I'm allowed to change my score.
I mean, I don't have much else to say. The episode is so boring.
Like, you guys are a little higher on it than me. So, yeah, 4.
Yeah, 4. It's being nice.
Yeah, 4. Yeah, the average got skewed up a little bit the more we talked about it, but...
It came up?
And that's bad.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, it came up a little bit.
Oh, this was... Honestly, I'm with you, man. I mean, This was one that definitely was like within the first minute or two, I just immediately I can tell her this is going. Got phone out. What's on Twitter?
Dude, it's frustrating.
So bad. I shouldn't be that way.
It's frustrating, dude, because it's like...
Well, it is. It's frustrating in the concept of I want to sit down and enjoy it, but I can't because I can immediately see like, oh, it's the same shit I've seen all season.
Yeah.
I don't care. I just more meant what's bad is like my immediate reaction is what's going on Twitter. Like I don't need to be on my damn phone that much.
Yeah, true.
Especially Twitter of all places.
That's true. Just scrolling. Yeah, that's what I find myself doing. But
just you know what, I'm feeling a little too happy. Let's go get pissed off. Yeah, that's Twitter. That's like basically what you're doing when you get on Twitter anymore. Sometimes.
That's why I usually stayed away from the social media for quite a long time. But my dumb ass went right back in.
Well,
but at least Instagram is just memes that are funny.
I'm on Facebook now too.
Yeah, I leave that for my web browser. I should
That's
probably
true.
re-download it, but I just don't care.
Yeah, I'm getting more upset by the day that I got it re-downloaded, so probably not a good call, but we'll see. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. But
so, your score, Jordan?
Yeah, 5.
Yeah.
It's very mid.
All right.
What about the better Star Wars show?
oh man,
Oh, the hotness?
How to do a filler episode correctly.
no.
I mean, yeah, but
I mean, see, people still bitch.
shit, it was awesome.
People still bitched.
Oh, they
People
did.
still bitched about Pershing.
Mm-hmm.
They bitched about an episode about Pershing. I'm like, dude, do you not understand at this point how important that guy is?
Mm-hmm.
Like, do you not really get it in
they
any
must
sense?
not.
He's not just some dipshit little nerdy doctor that's just wandering his way through the universe. Like, this guy is an important individual.
Oh, yeah, spoilers, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, right. I mean, I haven't really gone too far yet.
No,
but,
not. I mean,
but no.
Pershing was in the trailer, so.
Right, and people are just so mad about it. I'm like, dude, shut up. I'm like, there's obviously something that they want us to know, and you have faith in Filoni when you want it, and you don't when you don't want to hear it.
Yeah, I'll say it.
Every time.
So I messaged you boys that like this episode was like starting off hot or whatever, and then immediately after I said that, it cut to like the Pershing storyline, and I was like, "Uh-oh!" I was like, I hope this is good,
dude. Yeah.
And then like I heard a lot of people say it before I actually started watching it that this episode felt like an episode of Andor.
Yeah.
Totally understand why. Yeah, I got the same vibes. I was like, "Yep, this definitely feels like Andor again," and I am 100% right back home.
It's amazing, dude. So obviously we'll get kind of into it now. I mean, obviously we're starting to kind of get there anyway, but
Yeah, I mean, non-spoilers, Jordan's exactly right. People are right. I mean, it was like, it started out like, oh, okay, this is awesome, sweet.
Yeah.
And it's like, then it kind of changes tone, and it feels like a thriller, spy thriller type, and in the middle there. And then we get back to, again, who we care about, and it ends with some straight hype.
Mm-hmm.
The end is some... Especially if you've been following all of Star Wars, this is hype. This
awesome.
End is hype. But we'll get there.
We'll get there.
Now let's spoil the hell out of it.
Yeah,
so we start.
yeah. No, I'd say it's a great episode, and there's so many subtleties in it. It's amazing.
First, let's just talk about
Okay.
the goated ship. Bo-Katan ship.
Yes, that ship's amazing.
I can't remember the name of it.
All right. I don't know either, and
Actually,
you're
okay.
the only one with a laptop, but... Alright, but... Okay. First, though. The opening. Yeah, you bathed in the waters. Just, alright, cool.
Got all cleaned up.
Did you see anything? No.
Nope. Yeah.
And then just left it at that. Just,
Yeah.
someone has ulterior motives.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if I can't get that damn Darksaber...
I'm all for sure
Get
get
me
that
a
fucking
mythosaur.
mythosaur.
Dude, it's awesome. I mean...
I just thought that was, as we're introing this and going into this episode, that's the beginning, and I'm like, gosh, hold their tongue about that mythosaur. There's a reason for that.
It's called
yeah.
the Gauntlet.
The Gauntlet.
Product line
Comric
class fighter
fighter.
transport. But her nickname's the Gauntlet for it. That's hype. Yeah, goated. Favorite ship, period. I don't know. Although, second favorite is actually Mando's ship. I love that ship. Even from the prequels. Like, what is it? The
Nubian. Is that
what is it? It starts with an N, right?
Well, yeah, because it's from Naboo.
That's
the same
Naboo.
fighter.
I was trying to think of like the planet. I was like, why can't I think of the planet?
It's the same fighter. It's the Naboo fighter.
Yeah, I can't remember what that's
Yeah,
called.
and the prequels are
Starship.
yellow and silver. But yeah, but anyway, I agree. I agree with you with the whole like, yeah, you might have that dark saber, but I'm gonna go train this bad boy down here.
Right. Yeah, that SAR means more too, and
it took both of those things together for Mandalore the Great to bring Mandalore together. So, obviously you can't. She makes herself indisposable if she gets that mythosaur and can train it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, doesn't mean that you automatically get the darksaber, but
so, all right. So they fly back on the Gauntlet to where she was staying on the other moon of or the other planet / moon, whatever, in the Mandalorian system. I think I missed it. Why did all of a sudden a whole bunch of TIE fighters show up and the Empire's there?
Well, that's what I don't. All of a sudden, they just came out of nowhere.
That's how I felt when I was watching the episode. Do you remember?
And these were TIE
I feel like there
too.
was a reason.
They were TIE interceptors.
I feel like there was a reason given, but I can't remember what it was. But yeah, I'll try to think about it. But I think it was, if it was mentioned, I think it was kind of like a toss away type of thing, or.
So that's like one problem I did have with this episode is I felt like they just came out of nowhere, and I was like, okay, like this is awesome, the flying, and they're oh my god, flying the ships and how they're messing these TIE interceptors up. I was like, okay, this is great, but I just kind of sat there and was like, but wait a minute, why are they there?
I think
the only other thing is they teased us. Oh, we're in spoilers. They've kind of teased Moff Gideon. We'll get to it later in the episode, but I don't know if maybe that's why. Maybe he's just screwing with Bo-Katan again, and maybe off the top of my head, that's really the only thing.
Right, because isn't the thing like Moff Gideon escaped like his imprisonment, right? Mm-hmm. Don't they kind of say it?
Yeah, I think they kind of left it open at least to the very. I kind of binged those 2 seasons together, so it's kind of a big blur to me.
Well, they have him captured at the end of the season 2, and I don't believe they say anything about it in Book of Boba Fett, so I guess the assumption is that he just escaped or got away from the Republic or the New Republic.
Well, depends on who they're talking about here. Because they may have left it wide open for a reason. We may not know who this person is because there's still tons of obviously Empire's forces around the galaxy, whether it be Thrawn or whoever. But Thrawn was more of a TIE defender guy. That's why I was like, when I saw like the different style of TIE, like obviously you saw right away that it wasn't a TIE defender, but I was like, that would have been so hot if it said defenders, just because TIE defenders can travel at light speed independently.
I'm waiting, since this is all Filoni's creations, I'm waiting for that thing to show up from Rebels.
Which one? The Defender?
The Defender's the 3-winged.
Yeah, it has like the kind of the back ones that come off the back, and they can actually travel light speed, so they don't have to have to have a ring or anything to travel light speed.
That's the one in the Rebels plotline where it was the money was either going to build a bunch of those or they were going to build the Death Star, and then the Rebels
they sabotage the building, the program.
Yes, Kanan and Ezra, all them. Put a stop to those being mass produced.
Well, and
because that was Thrawn's project, and then
correct.
Tarkin's project was the Death Star.
Well,
and then Tarkin's obviously, as we know, the Tarkin's project wins.
Well, and it's cool in the Thrawn books when they go into really why that happened the way that it happened. It really had nothing to do with the Defender, like the Defender project getting interrupted. It had more so to do with the politics of Grand Moff Tarkin, and Vader, who vehemently hated Thrawn and didn't want anything that he did to be successful. So it's like that manipulation's really why that didn't happen, because in my opinion this is such an important part of that story, because if you in my opinion, if the TIE Defender program takes off and the Death Star doesn't, I think the Empire wins.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think that's the whole point of having the story.
Yeah, which is such an important part of it. Is there's so many things that could have went wrong, But
so they blow her house up.
Just bomb the shit out of it too.
Right. They were just like, yeah, we'll send off these 5 idiots to go chase her around while we blow her house up. And
Screw you!
They can get killed while the masses of us just.
Do you think that the Empire knows there's a mythosaur there?
No.
I mean, why wouldn't they? I mean, obviously they bomb the shit out of the planet.
I think that it's very much that, like, I think the idea is that everyone in the whole damn galaxy is like, yeah, that place sucks. There's nothing there anymore.
Place is just kryptonite.
I mean, there's a reason that they bombed her palace, and that they were right there when this all went down. I don't know. I think that they're monitoring the planet because they know how dangerous Mandalorian culture is. So,
that's why. Yeah, I mean that's why Palpatine left Maul to rule it.
Right, because he can manipulate him.
He was like, "Oh, I can manipulate you."
Yeah, so it's you'll handle this for me.
Remind me, I have a theory I wanted to ask when we're done. It refers to Mando, of the show, but I'll just save it until the end after we talk about everything.
But so they get away
after the hot Burton Batman scene. So dope.
The second she just went up and like stops vertically and falls, I was like, Batman. I was just like, Batman.
Dude, I googled the image and I rewound it and put it up next to the TV, and it just looks the exact same. Mm-hmm. I mean, clouds and everything, all the same. It's just sweet.
Mm-hmm. I am Batman. And that U-turn thing she pulled.
Oh,
she dropped the wing. No, I was like, Bat.
so sweet. I mean, and of course, obviously, can't say they never gave us nothing on this episode. You know what I mean? That's almost what it feels like with this first scene, because it's like, as soon as we're getting this hotness, it's like, and you're done.
And transition
right to the next grab. So,
we go to Coruscant, and we,
which looked awesome.
Awesome.
Oh, yeah, it looked great.
They did a great job.
CGI capital of the galaxy.
It was,
yes.
Yeah.
But looked good.
But, unlike Phase 4 Marvel, it looked good.
He's out of line, but he's right.
Yeah. But no, they had a festival going on. It was funny that I saw somebody post when they were carrying the food. It's even the corn dogs glow in Star Wars. It's whatever the hell they were eating. No idea.
I couldn't tell if it was a popsicle or a lollipop.
I thought popsicle, glow in the dark, just to be festive. I thought that, but then when they ate it, it just didn't.
Also, speaking of that
right.
scene, just leave it up to Star Wars to be heavy-handed with the foreshadowing.
It was just pretty. It's pretty political. The scientist, he's like, my research can save countless lives.
Right.
Because we can just clone organs and all those medical advances. But everyone in the Senate's like, nah, we've seen where this leads before. Get the hell out of here with this idea. We absolutely just do not want this. And so,
which is crazy considering.
And then so he goes home, which home is where they're stupidly keeping everyone who was serving under the Empire, all in basically a camp, is how I'll say it. I'm not going to say the first word. We all know what I was going to say. But a camp, a type of camp, it's essentially the same idea. It's like, well, this is dumb. Why would you stick all these people together that were,
just gathered against you? And
because Star Wars always has to have reference to that time.
I guess so.
It's true.
There's a lot of I don't even know how to dance around that topic. There's a lot of thematics surrounding that particular
Yeah, you're right. No, there is. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, when you think about
even
how their setup is,
and it's like they're trying to like reform them,
brainwash them,
and and then the
fact that they don't even like have names; they're just numbers.
Yeah. Hey, sounds familiar.
Exactly.
Like you said, no, Jordan's right. Like when it gets to when you think about the politicalness inside of it, it's like this is oddly representing something that happened in real world, like, oh God.
I mean, they were pretty heavy-handed about it in the
80
new
years ago,
too.
like 80 years ago at this point. You know, it's very close in relation to that. And like, yeah, they number them. They don't have real names. They're numbered.
Yeah, the Empire are the Nazis. You know, I mean, that's.
Oh yeah.
You know, that's
100% what it is.
Exactly.
I don't know if I have to bleep that out or not, but I'm going to.
No.
Right.
Anyway,
I mean,
I don't know what words are allowed anymore.
Right.
The only thing
we just know we can't say
don't put Neo in front of it.
Support
That's
your
weird. Where there's no real Nazis around, so I don't have to worry about them anymore. The only the Neos now. You know, that's.
But yeah.
But dude, it's cool how it switches now. You know, like whoever's in power.
This is one thing I think, and why I think kind of Star Wars kind of avoids the whole political drama of that crap, is like no matter which side is on charge, they both clearly, Star Wars kind of just shows like the faults of each one. Like the Republic nor the Empire are perfect or have clean hands.
Jedi or the Sith.
Like,
I mean, that's
something, and I think that's something I've always actually really liked about Star Wars too. Is just like they're kind of like South Park, and they shit on everything.
It's true. The thing that's interesting.
Just reflect inward. The Jedi don't.
And that's the thing. It's like the Jedi and the Sith. It's the show. It's so good because they make you relate so much to the Sith on so many things that are normal. And then, like the good guys, they're supposed to be the pinnacle of good.
Yeah, like we're always right.
Yep.
It's like, well, they're actually kind of wrong here.
And they're wrong. And it's like, so you don't even know who, which is really representative of Anakin's character, which is why people connect to him so much.
Yeah. And so, as our doctor, he very quickly gains the friendship of these other people that are being reformed, and he trusts them right away. That part I was kind of like, okay, like...
Well, except for one.
Well, really...
Because he notices I can't remember her name. Whatever, the girl that was from...
Well, he notices her from Moff Gideon's ship, so they take some time to kind of gain trust there. It still felt kind of fast to me. And then he's just cool... because he's been shot down by the Senate twice on asking to get his projects funded. He's, the the Senate won't listen to him. The robot that does the interview with him, he's trying to ask, like, well, I want to...
Are you mad at anybody or any policy? Or I'm like, good Lord.
So he feels like, he's just getting ignored, so then he agrees to go steal the parts with her, and, like, it didn't play... I mean, I figured the whole time she was for sure betraying... That should be good.
Kane. I'm just watching it.
Kane was her name.
I figured that Kane... I figured the whole time that Kane's going to betray him.
Oh, they weren't heavy-handed about it at all with the foreshadowing with her.
Yeah. Like, not at all.
I like the yellow biscuits. She chimes in, I like the red ones. And then when they got their little lollipops, he's got a blue one. She's got a red one. It's like, oh.
I didn't even pay attention to that, but all right.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, the red and the blue glow will tell you everything you need to know about so much of the episodes most of the time.
It's like, even if I thought about trusting you, no, get out of my face.
You put down that red lollipop right now.
Evil.
But no, it's...
So, basically, she sets him up.
Well, and two, the thing is, when he meets all of them, he is just this shrewd little nerdy guy that, nobody really pays him any mind. Even at work, they show how he ain't shit. He ain't shit. I mean, his boss comes out, oh, I didn't know how qualified you were. Here's a stack of papers, get it done. That's
right.
that's pretty much how he's getting portrayed, as they're just beating him down, and he's actually trying to do the right thing in that case, his idea of the right thing, and they're just still like, no, we know who you are, screw you, and so he obviously has to take it into his own hands with that. But when he sees the other soldiers, ex-soldiers of the Empire, they're not anything like him. They're like normal kind of soldiers, like people, where he is just so weird and just zoned out all the time, obviously because of the time he had to spend with the Kaminoans and on Gideon's ship, who's a war criminal. So, I mean, obviously you see the two different types of the soldiers in the Empire. The other soldiers are more like the Republic commandos that we saw, and he's more like the ones that we would think of when we think of the Empire. So, kind of an interesting dynamic before we, get off into the, when they go and try to steal the what is it, a mobile med kit, center or something?
Yeah, something like that.
A mobile medical lab is basically what I kind of got
essentially
out of it.
what it was. Just a bunch of equipment so he could actually continue his research.
Yep, and then...
but it was exactly what was needed to kind of continue the cloning research. So then she, who's... Is it Kane?
Kane, yeah.
Elia Kane.
Also, fun fact, she's the Quantumania. You remember the really...
Yep, she's that one, yep.
Yeah, she's the really, really buff woman in that movie.
Oh, yeah, okay. That's right.
Because she's jacked in reality, like... She gets
squished like a grape. Just
yep. yeah.
What's next?
Well, so...
Side note, they should cast her as Abby for Season 2 of The Last of Us. Sorry.
So, Kane then, she set him up, and then they're gonna, like you said, you find out, like, they're just like, oh, we're just gonna shock your bad thoughts out of you. He's like, no, this is a mind flare.
Dude.
And I was like...
Crazy.
I was just like, here we go.
Dude, insane.
And, oh my God, the Easter egg, it's a trap! And...
yeah, that was amazing.
God, he just looks at him like, yeah, I'm not Admiral Akbar.
I normally would have...
And this ain't your day.
I normally would have cringed so hard at that, of just how obvious it was. But the fact that how they shot the scene, it worked. Because it was so, like, almost disorienting, like, almost like One Who Flew the Cuckoo's Nest type. Just, like, it almost didn't seem like real reality, just the way it was shot. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's very delusional looking. So just the way it was shot, I was like... all right, I'll give it to you.
He's like, no, low voltages. He's like, that won't happen. And then just, they all leave the room, and then she's with one other guy, and she just tells, yeah, I'll watch it. And just,
he's a friend.
He's a friend. Well, I'd like to stay. And just leaves, and
no questions asked.
Just, all right, let's turn up to 11.
It goes to 11.
So it does go to 11.
And he just starts getting
fries his
cooked.
brains. Poor dude. That's the last of him. So
I hope.
I'd say so.
I sure hope so. I've seen stupider stuff they like to do.
That's true.
So wait, like he's just dead? I took it.
Well,
I just
brain dead. Probably.
I just don't know. I don't know if where's a mind flayer from. I don't know if I've ever actually seen one.
Well, that's what the Empire used to do. I think when they were interrogating
prisoners
of war.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they'd turn it up to a certain extent, and they'd just fry you until you couldn't, until there were pieces of you that were missing.
For some reason,
They allude.
Gathered that he was just going to get his memory wiped. That's kind of what I.
Do you remember in Obi-Wan how they hooked Leia up? It's essentially the same thing.
Oh,
just the one he was in was way more advanced because they're on Coruscant, and it's like 20 years later.
This isn't a mind flare.
Yeah, and this mind flare is a lot more.
Not mind flarery.
Yeah, a lot less menacing because the other one you get strapped up like you're on a crucifix while you're getting tortured.
Jesus.
Sometimes a giant alien named Abu Ghali is just gonna go get all up in your mind.
Oh, dude,
play it around.
That is the most hilarious shit.
Abu Ghali.
What's Bugalit?
What's Bugalit?
He feels your mind. Those tentacles, I'm like, bro, get
Get this hentai out of here.
Yeah.
That's what you were thinking.
Yeah. Page 87 on,
Alright. Back to Mando. Back to Mando and the gang.
Mando and the gang.
Alright. So, he and Bo-Katan get back to the armor and her gang of whatever the hell they're called.
Just derelicts out there. I mean...
Well, yeah, the cultists, the name of their group is...
It's a coven, but... I mean,
it's escaping me. Which it
Children of the Watch.
Oh, yeah, Children of the Watch.
Children of the Watch, that's it, thank you.
From Concordia.
Right. They just look at her and just... And who are you? She's, I am Bo-Katan of Clan Kreese. And I was, like, when she's saying it, all the actual titles, the way she's saying it, I'm sitting there just as the Clone Wars nerd, just... Yes! 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 We're finally getting to all this shit. This is awesome!
Yeah, this is what I kind of expected earlier, even. I thought they would start with this kind of stuff, but I'm glad they didn't go there right away. But
yeah.
But no, this is really what I wanted. Obviously, them starting to bridge that gap between sects of Mandalorianism.
Right.
But...
Did they drop Death Watch? Did one of the Children of the Watch, did they drop Death Watch? The name? After she said her house name and all that? Clan? I can't remember.
They just say that you have defected. You also have... They say something along the lines of... You and your house or you and your clan have also defected from the way.
Maybe that was it. They just alluded
the
to
way. And then, like, they go into the cave where the armor's at, and that's, I think the armor says it to her. And then, Jaren, Din gives the vial to her.
Pours it into
she
sweet
pours
pedestal.
She pours it into some special bowl pedestal. And just it looks all magical when it comes out. There's like a glow to it, and she's like, "Yeah, this is it." And asks like,
and then Bo-Katan is back in the way on a technicality.
Yeah, just like literally, she says, "Well, as long as you're here and you don't remove your helmet, you are a part of like you are back as the Children of the Watch, and like this is the way." And then, like...
This is the way.
And
everybody.
And then all the others just start patting her on the shoulder, fist bumping her, and she's, like, kind of looking, and, yeah, you might not be able to see her face, but the idea is stirring. She now realizes, like, okay, I know how to get my army.
And then I like how it kind of finishes with her, like, staring at that like metal statue that was hanging on the wall of like the skull of the Mythosaur, and just ends on her just like, oh crap. She's just like, yeah.
She's figuring out, because for her, she wants to get Mandalore fully back. So she's getting the ideas now. She knows what she has to do. She's either gonna... See, people are already starting to ship her and Din, like, oh, they're going to get together and be husband and wife, so then they can both...
Rule together.
They can rule together, which that...
Part of me wants that, but part of me just deep down knows it probably ain't going to happen.
And you're not...
I don't know, honestly.
That's kind of the thing, is I'm kind of in the same... I don't know.
Have two warriors, though, like, in a committed relationship. You know, like, usually, like, there's the... Especially in Mandalorian culture, obviously they don't want to... They really would prefer to go back to the warrior-type culture, but I just don't see it with the competition, the way that they have it between each other.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
I don't know if it actually is going to work. I mean, what I see happening is, yeah, she's going to try to either manipulate it in a way to get Din to raise them all together, and, like... She's probably going to say, like, well, they're your brothers and sisters, aren't they? Like, they should follow you. You have the sword, and blah, blah, blah. But the thing is, though, is that if they do restore Mandalore, I mean, you're not going to have a planet of people running around with helmets on 24/7. I mean...
I think that's their plan.
That's their plan, but it's definitely not Bo-Katan's plan.
Well,
her plan is just to use them to get what she wants.
If she takes that helmet off... she got no support.
Well, yeah,
You know?
I mean,
she's almost.
But her own people are out there too, though.
Well, correct, but here's the thing. To her, that entire sect of the Children of the Watch, no other, like, she wasn't a Mandalorian, she had her helmet off. You know, there are no other Mandalorians except for the ones in that room. Yeah. Those are the Mandalorians, the true ones. So all these other ones come in, well, they probably better be real Mandalorians too if they want to be a part of this. Otherwise, the Armorer is just going to say, nope, and that's it. So her support, I mean, now you see that she's obviously getting the support that she's been wanting and looking for a place to be because she didn't take her helmet off. So now she's seeing the incentive to not taking that helmet off. Well, everybody else starts bathing in the waters and not taking their helmet off to join that cause. Maybe the Children of the Watch, maybe this is the way actually becomes the way.
Maybe.
You know, I mean, which would immediately instill them back into prime alpha warrior culture.
The Katie Sackhoff said, she's like, actually, I love that episode because filming it, she's like, I didn't have to get ready. She goes, I just could look like crap under there. She goes, no, never know. And I was laughing. I was like, that's pretty funny.
Well, I mean, honestly, that's really the kind of always the cop out that you can do with Din Djarin. I mean, he basically, when you hear him through a mask.
Well, that's like why when it came out that Pedro Pascal was upset with having to wear it all the time, all of a sudden, I thought, like, then just have him record the damn voice lines and have a stunt in there.
Exactly.
Like,
why do you need him to be in the suit?
Why does he have to be in the suit then? Yeah. Just like with Robert Downey Jr., he only wears, like, this part of it. The rest of it's CGI. Yeah. Like, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah. But
that's a character that can live forever, just like Luke now. So.
That's beautiful. Thank you, AI.
Oh my God, Thank you. I can have Luke forever.
My boy.
Grandmaster
My
Luke.
boy Luke.
Grandmaster.
God, I love Grandmaster Luke.
Solid 8.5 for me. Like I said, I wasn't too big on the scientist, like, I mean, he knew pre-existing who this girl kind of was, and, like, I feel like the trust is gained a little too fast. That's the only hang-up I have on the episode.
See, I'm pretty close with UKP. I think I'm at like a 8.3.
That, and also, well, and again, I mean, I might just need to go back and rewatch it, but also I kind of felt like the TIE Fighters just, to me, I thought they just came out of nowhere. Like, that was completely unwarranted. Like, it's like, where the hell are they coming from? So, that's just my thoughts on it.
Right, and that could be something that we may get the answer to next week. You know, I mean,
yeah, true.
But
in 2 days.
But right, Jesus, God, this life gets away. But I'm right there with UKP. I think 8.5. I was thinking 8.7, between 8.5 8.7. But I'm like, I just
sorry.
There's about the batch again. What's going on?
Yeah. Are you not entertained?
This is the entertaining one, KP.
I'm mostly entertained. I gave it an 8.5.
That's fair. But no, I think overall, we haven't had any true misses yet. I mean, as far as, you know, the series. So they're sticking true to what they wanted to do from the jump. Is Favreau said, Mandalorians has to be the one that hits. Like, that's the flagship.
Right, I love it.
So that should be all I got.
And apparently they have next season all mapped out too. So
written.
Yeah, I have really high hope. Like, the way this season has started out, it's like complete opposite of Batch. Like, you got my face, you though.
Yeah, it's like that meme.
Let me get them digits.
That meme, the dude walking with the chick and he's looking over his shoulders. Mando.
That's me with Mando, right?
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, because it started off strong. I got high hopes for the season and pretty much going into forward to next.
Yeah. So speaking of who we were kind of trashing on, I love that meme when, like, the chick holding the hand, they, like, Photoshop in, and it's Rey, and the guy's looking back at Ahsoka.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just Star Wars fans just like, yup.
Yeah. That's a fucking fact.
Yeah. All right.
Well, I guess we get to the finale.
The last of the Last of Us.
That I thought we already talked about, which I was clearly wrong. Yes. This amazing gem of a show. ended just how it needed to.
I did
Maybe a little more, but
did you guys know that John Wick had a brother named Joel?
I swear.
Joel Wick.
I was waiting for the dubstep to just start queuing in.
Do we just want to? Yeah, I mean, do we just want to go spoilers into this, or
Might as well.
I mean, yeah, it's
been two
about 2
Sundays
weeks.
ago.
You haven't seen Last of Us yet. You clearly don't care if it gets spoiled at this point. I'm not even gonna.
So,
put a
like-
banner up, but
yeah, the episode opens where they're immediately in Salt Lake City, correct? That's where they were going.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it basically skips them all the way there. There's no pit stops along the way, like we've kind of seen throughout the season, I feel. And I will say that that's why when I was watching this, I was like, whoa, seems like we're going a lot fast here, because they just kind of jumped immediately to the next town with no pit stop in between.
A lot of missed opportunity there, I think.
But Joel is like, personality is so, I mean, he's fully changed. He's so, like,
happy dad mode.
happy.
100%.
Yeah, happy dad. And I forget why he finally tells her about his daughter.
Great
And
scene. Great scene.
Yeah. Yeah, because he says it. He's like, I missed.
I thought
Yeah.
that was a awesome callback to that conversation earlier in the season. It was just like,
Yeah.
it's like, because that's not. I don't believe that's in the game. At least not that I remember. And I was just like,
Yeah.
well, that line hits a little harder now.
He's like, no, I'm the one that missed. And I was like, oh, that hits hard. And then, like, Ellie gets, or they get knocked out, right?
Well, they see the giraffe when they're kind of searching for that high point, and the giraffe
That's right.
scene was beautiful.
That was pretty cool.
The director
Spoilers,
like-
this episode's
I
a
felt-
9.5 just because they gave me the giraffes. I wanted this scene so bad. I was like,
The giraffes,
You give me the giraffes this first season.
The giraffes, I sat there and I was like, what the hell is this, Jurassic Park? Because when they're in the tree and the
Yeah.
Bronchiosaurus comes out, I was like, what is this, Jurassic Park? I was like, they have the giraffes, and then I was sitting
so
there thinking,
happy.
like, okay, where's the other badass animals that got out of that zoo? Where are the lions?
That was my first thought too. I was
Tigers.
Like, oh, let's
Yeah.
go.
Also,
like-
side note, I loved seeing all the people on Twitter later that night just being like, yeah, great. The CGI on the giraffes looked terrible, though. The CGI on the giraffes just a little weird. Come to find out,
It's
a
a real giraffe.
I was going to say, it was a real giraffe.
I'm just like, I was like, what are you guys on about?
Dude.
CGI looked terrible. Well, that's because it's real. It's just...
I swear to God.
So, yeah, thank God it does, because it turns out it's a real giraffe.
So we've come this far, to the point to where nobody even knows anymore. It all blends together.
Just, yeah, we come to the point where people are like, oh my God, they used a real one? Just CGI it, Jesus.
Animal cruelty.
Yeah. Stop it.
No, did you see that? They have they always have the disclaimer that they have a humane society monitor all their recordings. So
So it came up because they used a live giraffe for a 5-second shot.
Hey, that 5-second shot was.
Oh, it was cool. It was cool.
Gabagoo.
But no, I just loved, yeah, they got taken in, didn't they?
Yeah, they
Yeah,
were.
I think after that, they started.
they got waylaid by the fireflies. I thought, and they
Can't
were down
remember.
the
Did she
street.
pull out the riddle book again and start to say something? And then I think that's when they get attacked.
I thought that was before they went inside, because I thought they were outside still when she was reading those to him.
I think
They're like-
they were, because he
yeah.
told her to get the book out.
Yeah, he says,
Yeah.
I'd like to hear some, bad
Yeah.
puns or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
And then
it was-
they get jumped on.
they're not paying attention.
Yeah.
And somebody just comes up
Then you...
and they grab her, and then they hit him. He's kinda in and out of it,
They
right?
threw a flashbang grenade at him.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
And
right.
then they get disoriented, and he comes up with the butt of his rifle and knocks him out.
Welcome.
Give you a concussion, basically.
Yeah.
Hi, welcome to the Firefly.
Right.
Yeah, I like how Marlene, she's like, they didn't know who you were. Oh, actually, that makes it better.
And he's like, Marlene's just telling them what they're gonna do, and so.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, well, wait a minute. he's like, these things you need to extract, are they in the brain or something? And she's just like, yeah. And he's just, find someone else. Immediately just find someone else. I was like, oh.
Yeah, he's about to go. You can see it in his eyes.
Daddy Joel coming out.
When he came across
I mean, dude,
like, oh boy.
When he gets out and, like, I legitimately sat there, I was like, I was blown away.
Yeah.
Because, like, he is literally just, it's John Wick. He's popping people in the face. Every single one of them. I was like, Joel Wick up in here? I was like, what is this?
Somebody said,
and it was
first
awesome.
see it Joel as he should be.
Like, I remember I was just sitting there on my couch, I'm like, this is so awesome. I was just, this is awesome. So, he saves her. The doctor just pops him. I was like, oh my god.
I won't let you take her. Dong! Like, what?
But he left the nurses, right? He didn't kill them. He just popped the doctor.
Yeah, and one of them nurses was actually another video game cameo. Laura Bailey, who was also on Critical Role. She voices Abby in the second game.
Oh, nice. So he takes her, and she
carries her out the whole
yeah, oh yeah, that's right. She's knocked out the whole time.
Yeah, he carries her out, and I'm like, because...
Wait, sorry, side note. Is this the episode with the giving birth in the beginning, or is that the last episode?
This is that episode, so I think I skipped over that.
Yeah,
so the very beginning actually started with Ashley Johnson, who voiced Ellie in the video game. Mm-hmm. So not only did she give birth to Ellie in the video game, she now has given birth to her
in the
in the live action series. Awesome.
Glorious.
Which that scene was important because that's how you know who Marlene is, and then also it's why Ellie is immune because her mom was bit when she was pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And it almost seems like almost like right at or right before she gave birth, so it's like right on that almost like real fine line almost.
Yeah. So I skipped over that,
But
I just really quick, I thought that was a really beautiful thing that they wrote in. I think that whole thing, the fact they've been using a lot of the voice actors in the roles in this show is, I think, just really, really cool. So
absolutely,
I thought that was
and how powerful that scene was. Anyway, I mean, holy shit! I mean, so for her to just be begging to be killed by her childhood, lifelong best friend, pretty much. I mean, and then she just goes back in. You just sees how much she's disconnected.
Dude.
Just walks right in, takes care of it. I mean, obviously has to fight through it at first.
I kind of like that small moment too of like, no, I'm not killing my best friend, and then it's kind of like, yeah, she almost had to shut her mind off because at the same time she's like, but I can't leave my best friend like that either. So it's just like, robot engaged.
Yep, exactly.
Yep. So Jill gets out, and dude, too, when she, like, has the gun on him and you hear the gunshot go off, and she's like, and I was like, what? And he had the gun underneath her. Yeah. I was like, oh my god, that's awesome.
Yeah. Oh, and then when he goes back, and he's like,
dude,
and he goes,
oh my god,
he's like, you'd come after her.
Well, right, and they don't show you that because, like, it's a little bit of a jump, and they're walking, and Ellie's conscious, and she's asking him all these questions, and he's, like, giving her answers, and she just kind of feels like, okay, this doesn't seem right, and, like, when she asks him the question about Marlene, and then it just cuts back to it, and he goes back, and she's like, no, she's like, please, I can't walk or something. She begs for her life, something, and you'll just come after her again, and just immediate, just boom. I was like, "Ooh, shit!" It was
like he did what like every hero in every horror movie should have done to the bad guy. You know,
exactly. Right? Because and that's the funny thing is when the episode was on Twitter or after, or I mean when the episode was on Twitter, Jesus, when the episode was over on Twitter, it was funny as hell because people that were like me, never played the video game, they're all saying out like, "Oh, so Joel's actually a bad guy too, honestly," and it's just like, yes, that's literally what that episode just showed.
And that's why it is one of the most talked about stories in a video game for like the past 10 years. Is because of that ending.
Because he's just as shitty as everyone else. He's selfish in his own way.
Hey Jeff, Bull, you're a parent. Your kid's immune to this disease, but in order to get that cure, kid's got to die.
I would individually meat grind everybody in this room to save my daughter.
And that is what is also so awesome about this ending is like, especially parents will get it like, no, I'm killing everybody in that hospital. I don't care.
Everybody.
But like, but other people, even some that maybe are parents, just like have the same reaction as you, just like, oh, so Joel's kind of the villain in this story, like kinda, like he's the villain against humanity. Like
I was gonna say, he's really perfect way to put it. He is the villain against humanity because they have the answer to the problem, but he's just not gonna let you get it.
Yeah,
because nobody's taking his daughter again.
I just wonder, part of me, and if you want to spoil it or you want to leave it open, you can, Jordan, because I know you've played the games, but I just wonder if, was she actually unconscious at that moment? Because he had a gun underneath her that he shot. I would think that noise...
From what I remember, she's pretty unconscious because I think the second game kind of... It's pretty early on, but she basically finds out, what all went down there.
Oh, yeah, eventually.
Her in that moment is her. Well, it's also kind of a callback to the conversation earlier where Joel's like, "Are you sure you still want to do this, or we can just go back to Jackson or whatever?" And she's like, "Well, no, because then all of this would have been for nothing. All these people that died would have been for nothing." And it's like kind of that moment too in that car where it's just like she kind of. I personally get the feeling she doesn't 100% trust the story, but she trusts Joel with her life, so she's just kind of going along with it. So I think there's kind of this sense of depression too, of like, oh, I thought my life was to, give this cure and save humanity, and now it's like,
what's the purpose?
Apparently that's not true. So then it's also kind of harking. Well, I guess all these people kind of did die for nothing in the end because
Yes.
So I feel like it's a whole mixed bag of emotions type of thing in that car, and also kind of with the final scene. Which I think that might actually be the next scene.
Yeah,
isn't it?
Yeah, because they roll up on the town where Tommy is, and or at least I think so.
Yeah, that's where they were at the very end. They were going back there,
and that's when everything kind of comes out, and she has to make herself believe him.
Yeah,
like you're saying.
I was gonna say, that's what I kind of got. Is like she's kind of forcing. She's like, you definitely got that impression where she's like, I don't fully believe you, but I'll take your story.
Yeah,
which is why it's like perfect how she doesn't say like yes or no or I believe you, or just her answer is just
okay.
Yeah,
it's just like
yeah,
just get and that's kind of. I was trying to say earlier, it's like she may not 100% trust the story, but she just kind of trusts Joel and is going to continue to go with Joel.
Right.
And then it just cuts to black, and that's it. Loved it. That's exactly how the game ended. So I was like, it better cut it. Better.
Yeah.
Joel murked a bunch of bitches, and it ended exactly how it ended. I was like, good in my book. And it gave me the draft scene.
I was talking to a bunch of people about it.
9 dubs.
And it was funny because, the guys I was talking to about it, they were like me. They didn't play the game, and they were like... Some others were asking, how is that show? Others that didn't play the game, just wanted to know how the show was. And one had said, he's like, it's pretty good if you haven't played the games. He goes, but apparently, he's like, if you played the video games, he's like, this is one of the best things ever created. And I just laughed, and I said, yeah, that's actually kind of how it goes with, my buddies and I with our pod that we review it. I said, the one that's played the games, he's way more about it than myself and you. And I was like, that's probably just because we haven't played the games.
Yeah, but, we don't get all the subtleties, as they happen, which is, I'm sure, so much more exciting. But
this was such a pleasantly awesome finale that it's probably 10 finisher.
KP coming out with the 10.
It's the first one we've had, isn't it?
He shot everyone.
I might have to make a graphic for that with the sound.
Yeah, we need.
KP certified.
Okay. I'll retract it back because I did say how it did feel though it was rushed. So I won't say a 10 then. I'll say a 9.5.
Everything just reverses.
I don't know, 9.3 or whatever the hell you guys do. Like, I won't give it a 10 because, like I said, I forgot that I did feel when it started, I'm like, oh, this seems kind of fast, but whatever, let's get it over with.
Yeah, I think for me personally, it gave me. I obviously love this series as a whole. It's delivered on pretty much everything I've wanted, and then some extra that I didn't even know I wanted. Gave me my giraffes. That's
the giraffe.
I've been waiting all season to see the giraffes. Got them. Joel Merk bitches to save his second daughter's life. Lied about it to her. Perfect. Well, not perfect. Honestly, my main gripe I think about this episode is I kind of wish they wouldn't have like montaged Joel murking everybody. I kind of have a similar complaint that you did the prior week. Just show me more, but like,
yeah,
because it was kind of montagey and super cutty. It's like, and granted, playing the game, it's like that's kind of a long section of like battling your way up to there. So it's like I kind of wanted to
spend the time though.
I feel like, okay, so what I was griping about the penultimate, about how she's smashing his head in with the knife or the cleaver. I guess it makes sense when you think about it. What?
Machete.
Or machete. I guess it makes sense when you think about it that character is really only like, what, a 15, 16-year-old girl?
At this point.
Yeah.
So maybe it's the age thing, why they didn't want to show, like, a youth at that age that's just violently hacking a grown man into pieces. Because, I mean, the last episode, you pretty blatantly in your face, he shoots, literally, it's just head, then hole in it, blood splattered out the back. Like, they graphically show you that, so I'm like... Okay, so where was that last week with the chop?
Keep that same energy.
Yeah, like where was that at? Only thing I can think of is just because since Ellie's character is young, because I know that's why sometimes things in Japan get censored as if someone's an underage.
Interesting.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
It's a good
They'll
point.
censor it out.
It's a good point.
So yeah, they gave me like overall, especially in this episode, a lot of beats that I wanted them to hit. Wish we just a tad little bit more of Joel Merkin, just a little bit more. That's my only little gripe, I guess. Yeah, probably with you again. 9.5. I'll sit around there. 9.5. I'd say not quite a tenner, but pretty damn close.
We're gonna be 9.5 across the board because I mean this is probably the closest we've been to 10s in a while.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I think I'm going to give the series or season as a whole. Oh man, I want to give it a 10 so bad. For now, until a rewatch, 9.8 for the season.
I was just about to say a 9.8.
Once I binge it, I might go 9.8.
Yeah.
I'd say series as a whole probably is in line 9.3 because there's portions of it where I think there's missed opportunities, but that's just personal preference, not really structurally or performance based problems. So, but I'd say 9.3 overall for the whole series.
So yeah, as far as like me judging the season, like I loved the first game. It did an amazing job adapting that story, which is like I think an all time great, especially video game story and just a story in general. It delivered on a lot of the, like, it's almost like
Embrace debate.
Is
it better than Game of Thrones?
I haven't seen enough of Game of Thrones.
It's better than Game of
Thrones. I would say
numbers.
I would say with Game of Thrones, man.
All right,
some of it.
I will not lie.
Some of it is good.
I will not lie. The reason I even joked to say that, whatever, is just because the way Game of Thrones ends is pure shit.
Yeah.
So like,
can you spell rushed? Well, you're about to learn.
Rushed and just 180 on 5 different character developments.
Yeah, they reach their final form without
even garbage.
Yeah,
I hate how that show ends.
Yeah, it's good. Anyways, up until like the second to last season, then it's just.
Let's close this out, though.
Oh man, the Shazam.
Well, did you have more to say? about Last of Us?
Oh, just I like how it was just a super faithful adaptation of a story that I really love, and they also were able to tack on and build upon it and flesh it out even more. So I'm excited. I think they've already actually came out and said that they're splitting the second game into 2 seasons at least. So
that's awesome.
That's pretty cool. I think that game actually, spoilers, not actually to the game, but the second game's pretty divisive.
I've heard that.
But me personally, I think the second game will play out. I think the story will be better served played on a TV show than in a video game format. I think the story they try to tell in that game is kind of rough to put on a gamer. Especially what they think choices that they make is kind of rough to throw a gamer into. That's all I'll say without spoiling it. But I think the story as a whole. I think the story is like I think it will work pretty well in a TV show adaptation, especially if they're able to flesh out more things. So I'm still looking forward to it. So hopefully they redeem that story somewhat. They pull a little Clone Wars and Rebels and just make everybody like that second game a little more. But yeah, that's all I really had to say. So yeah, I guess we got one more review.
Yeah.
Oh boy, back to DC we go.
I don't think this is going to be long.
Nope.
I don't think I can do this.
Oh, that's funny.
Let's see.
That's kind of what I was thinking when I was saying.
So last night, I know you guys went on the weekend, but last night I went and saw a little movie called Shazam! Fury of the Gods.
Yeah, I did take Friday off, but I was an adult and did some very light cleaning around my house, and then I went out to lunch, and then I went and saw this movie.
Non-spoilers, what I will say, I guess before we get into anything we might want to talk about, I think it's okay.
Yep.
It's exactly that.
Yep.
It's exactly.
It's all right.
Okay. It's entertaining.
It's
Yep.
Yeah, it was entertaining. It was something.
All right, thanks, guys. Yes.
Yeah.
And then,
but I mean,
will say,
legitimately,
like I told you guys,
like you said out the gate when you were like, it was okay. It's entertaining. I was not really meaning to be sarcastic. I shared a meme of a gif of Michael Keaton just, yep. That's literally, I was just I feel like that's really all you can say.
Yeah.
That it's
definitely not as good as the first one.
Oh, God, no.
Which is disappointing. I'm not, this movie is not memorable. I just saw it last night. It's not memorable. I kind of forgot about it already.
Well, there was so much that happened, machine gun plot, that it was...
When did you see it?
Right before he did, yesterday.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I saw it at 4 o'clock yesterday.
Nice.
And there's still so much that I don't remember.
So,
I don't know why I remember it, I do. But...
If you, I guess we'll just finish off non-spoilers and get into the nitty-gritty. So just, if you haven't seen it and don't want spoilers, my rating, 6.5. They tried.
I was going to say mine is a 6 out of 10.
Yeah, I was going to either say 6.5 or 7, so
it's a movie that I would be like, it's a rainy day and you're bored, throw it on, entertain yourself.
Yeah.
If you've seen Black Adam, slightly better than that. Maybe. Depending on what you're in the mood for that day.
Yeah, in certain ways I can see that.
But what they both have in common is they definitely feel like they didn't come out this year. Both of those movies felt like they either came out 5 or 10 plus years ago. Both of them. Because this kind of felt like an older Marvel movie to me. Nope. Didn't like
That's
that.
Funny. That's funny.
So, yeah.
No, I agree with him. All right. So, just one last thing I'll say then before we get into spoiler heavy. Yes, what Jay is saying there is that this movie is a very campy comic book movie.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Campy's okay.
It is, but it's campy. This movie was campy, and I was like, not exactly expecting it, I guess. I really didn't know what to expect going in, but it's a campy movie. It feels like...
They also Thored Shazam, by the way, with his intelligence.
Yeah.
Last non-spoilery thing, I guess.
Yeah. All right, let's spoil
6'5".
6'5".
Yeah.
All right, spoilers. This is something that kind of bugged me in the first movie, and it's carried over in the second movie, except it's egregiously worse. I'm sorry. Zachary Levi as adult Shazam and Asher Angel, or Angel Asher, who plays actually Billy Batson, the younger Billy Batson, they do not seem like the same character to me at all, and it bugs the absolute crap out of me.
I agree with you, and I didn't even notice it until you said it, but you're right. Like, it's like, why does he have to be so stupid?
And that's the thing, is he wasn't stupid in the first one.
And when he's a kid, he
was just a kid, and he was a little goofy, but he wasn't stupid.
Like,
this one, he's just stupid.
Well, and the thing is that the kid version seems smarter than the adult all the time, in every way.
That's the disconnect I was always getting to. It's like, why does he seem like he's perfectly competent when he's 17, 18-year-old himself, but then when he transforms, he just
Shazam,
loses IQ points. He's just an idiot. I'm just like, I don't understand this.
Is it like the arrogance factor because he's a superpowered being and he feels like, well, I don't have to be smart?
I don't know.
I
don't know, because I feel like he would act like that if he was in his kid form too, if it truly made him arrogant. But he's fine, normal, put together, a decent leader, and then he just turns into this completely helpless child version of an adult self.
Right.
And I'm like, I think it's the actors and the way that they're portraying their roles, and I don't know if that's...
The best way I could describe it is it's like Zachary Levi's playing like a almost golden age version of like Captain Marvel or Shazam, but then you've got Asher Angel playing like the new 52 version of Billy Batson. It's like they don't jive. Like those are two completely different characters. One's super innocent orphan, the other one's a super bratty, kind of gets in trouble a lot orphan, like he was in the first one.
Yeah.
So, but it's like he's less that in this one. He's a little bit more. But still, I can't. It just irritates the heck out of me about how they're just totally different they are, even though they're supposed to be the same exact person.
Right.
It's like look at his Freddy and Adam Brody is just perfect. Like they're the same person almost. Like it's like, yeah, I buy that.
It's not that heavy.
It's like I totally buy that's older.
Yeah,
Freddy.
I loved their dynamic.
Yeah.
And Freddy's character development was great because, like, he's got a little more confidence because he's like, he knows, like, okay, well, in my back pocket, I got this word and I can turn into someone who can do whatever he wants. Captain Every Power.
Captain Every Power Jr. that was very funny.
God.
But yeah, sorry to start it off with a gripe, but that really, really frustrated the crap out of me. Also, I'm pretty sure.
I mean, it's throughout it's the whole movie. I mean, and like you said, like we're saying, I mean, it just kills it for you because I honestly was sitting there in the theater and so, you know, no one's in there because it's the middle of a Friday afternoon, and also everyone's away on spring break. So, like, my theater had me, one couple, and then two other guys in it. Same. Yeah.
I think there was only 4 other people in the movie theater other than me.
Yeah. And I'll be honest, like I said, I didn't really know what my expectation was supposed to be, but I got a bad feeling, you know, from the get-go on it, and then it's just like, as it kind of kept progressing, I just kind of sat there and I was like, oh, this is going to be over. Because I don't know. I was kind of waiting to see your guys' responses, because if you guys were going to be like, oh, this was so fun, it was entertaining, I loved it, I was just going to be like, just going to hold my tongue and be like, it wasn't for me. Because I don't know.
I won't say it wasn't fun, but that's the only saving grace to it. was it was like a Michael Bay superhero movie. Like, I mean, there was so much shit. And
yes, I throw this movie under popcorn film.
Yeah.
Just throw it on, eat some popcorn, turn your brain off for 2 hours.
Yep, have fun.
Yeah.
Because this substantially, like, the substance is not there.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
oh, God,
Like-
what? I feel like I'm actually going to bag on this movie way more than I actually probably should.
That's how I'm kind of
It doesn't
feeling,
really
too.
deserve it. So I'm going to try to throw some positives in there. Freddie was great.
Eugene was kind of great.
Eugene was terrible at dodgeball.
Hilarious.
I do love the moment of when they discover their kids and he comes out and he's like, I'm gay.
We know, buddy.
We know, buddy.
Yeah, we know, buddy.
I thought that was super cool.
thought
But
that was
also,
pretty
I
cool.
love how it genuinely like, caught me off guard because I don't know why. Like,
He's
I know they're like setting it up in the movie, but then when he was just like, I'm gay, I was like, oh.
I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, me and Nick looked
Yeah,
at each other like,
I just love how he just turns and just, yeah, we know, buddy. Yeah, we know, buddy. Yeah, we're cool. And he just looks around at all of them, and even the parents, they're all like, yeah, and he's just like, oh, okay.
And he just has that like sigh of relief, just like, oh, okay. All right, that's cool.
So I'm gonna go watch the game. He's like, yeah.
he's checking that dude out.
That was
Yeah.
awesome.
One of the Phillies players, I can't remember which one it was. It wasn't Harper, which is kind of odd, but I figured that's the one they would sexualize. But
Right.
anyways, God,
What else? I did really, really like basically the goodbye and sacrifice scene. Thought that was all done really well. That scene perfectly encapsulates what I loved almost about the first movie. It's about family, and I like how they had the setup.
I mean, and it really was because it was like, they're the three daughters of Apollo or of Atlas, and God, I'm getting it all mixed up. And but that was the goofiest shit about it. They're all these immortal daughters of Atlas, but one's frickin' Helen Mirren, who's in her 80s, Lucy Liu, who's in her 50s, and then this super young actress, and what's her name?
Anne. It's Anne.
Anthea is her character
And they
name.
call her Anne.
Yeah, and then Anne, and
oh my god,
Rachel
Ziegler.
Rachel Zegler or
It's
something
Zegler
like
or
that.
Ziegler. I'm not 100%.
At least they made a mockery of it in the own movie, and they're just like, how are you sisters? Like, you're legitimately, seriously so different in your age appearance. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
I'm 6,000 years old.
Right, it was kind of goofy with that, and I don't know.
Well, and the thing is, I was just a little thrown off at how predictable those three made the movie. With Calypso being who she is, the other two not having control. I literally was sitting there and I was like, well, I know what's going to happen now.
Although here's a positive.
Well,
Here's a positive. Helen Mirren, I think, did a really good job.
she did.
When I saw that she was going to be the one, I was like, I don't know how I exactly feel about this, but she almost brought like a
Well,
Shakespearean like quality
I
to
was
her
gonna say,
character in a
yeah,
way, and I was like,
proper.
okay, I kind of dig this.
Yeah.
I was like,
I mean, honestly, that was a great scene when he meets her in the little park area for lunch, and she's like, imagine if you had this thing, it was robbed from you and then given to your neighbor. How would you feel? And I was like, okay, they did this character very well. This was
Yes.
awesome. Like,
Yeah.
she's actually pretty cool.
which is why I actually think, and a couple people suggested it should have been just her as the villain. I think if it was just Helen Mirren, I think probably would have been better.
Yeah.
Because also when you think about it, you have a whole family of the Marvel family of characters that you got to include in this movie, and then you're bringing a whole trio of another family in. It's like, how many characters do you... Spider-Man 3, this bitch.
Oh, don't worry.
Then some.
Don't worry. You can just have a dream scene where you have the back of a stand-in double for Captain.
So,
Dude, and
I will
say, okay, so when that sat there, I almost immediately messaged you guys laughing in all caps, saying,
Yeah.
oh, they lied. They lied. It's another one, boys, and was just going to leave it at that.
That's what I was thinking,
And
too.
we'll get to it later. But anyways, I was sitting there like, when Stan's up off, I sat there and I was like, They did it again. They did it again.
Yeah.
I was like,
I hadn't already known she was actually going to show up, I would have been seething at the
oh, I know.
at the mouth at that scene.
That's
but the fact
exactly-
that I knew she was still coming at the end, I was like, this scene's awesome.
I still kind of wondered and sat there and was
So
like
did
kind of
I.
laughing, and I thought like, are they really gonna? They really doing this? Like, was that weak and all that? Was that just all bullshit? And
I think I said out loud, "What the is this?"
And actually, I would have been actually a little nervous had they not spoiled it with the TV spot earlier that week of her actually showing her face talking to him.
to say,
Yeah.
that's probably why they spoiled it
If
because
that
they were like,
wasn't there-
That's probably why they spoiled it because they probably thought like, oh god, if people see this in the theater, they're just gonna all get pissed off and leave. And they're like,
Fans will just leave.
well, joke's on you. No one went and saw it. Anyways, all right. No, immediate gripe I had from the second it happened. I'm sorry. Why does the dragon only listen to Calypso out of the three of them? That dragon was real cool with killing the eldest one. Just, man, fuck you.
Isn't she?
I guess Calypso whispered in his ear. We just didn't see it.
Well, she summoned him. She summoned him.
My
to-
fucking bad. I forgot that was her power. That's
I guess
right.
did
Yeah.
summon
She summoned him
too,
to
but-
come.
That's
from the
so.
depths.
That's what I was thinking. I thought like, okay, are they just treating like her summoning him to come up from his other garden as like that's why she can control the dragon? I
also like initially
I
when
don't
the
know.
scene happens where like Helen Mirren's character gets stabbed by the tail,
and she stabbed through the heart.
and I was like,
She's
a hole in her chest.
Yeah, how's she still alive to make the barrier smaller?
She's laying on her back and she's got a hole and he's like shocking her. That was so funny. He's like, clear,
clear. just let me
go
pass.
to the underworld in
Yeah.
peace.
but I immediately like kind of thought to myself because nothing really was said. It was just like, okay, so did the dragon kill her or did Calypso tell the dragon? Because nothing was really. It was just all of a sudden out of nowhere. The dragon didn't like what she was saying, so.
Well, so the way I kind of took it was
the dragon's the protector of the garden, and they made a new garden, so she was threatening that garden, and the dragon was like, I stab you now.
yeah,
Okay.
that's
Like,
pretty
is
much
that
how I
the...
took it. That's pretty
I was
much.
saying,
how-
is that
well,
the whole other thing to it?
Well, because Calypso
I'll buy that logic, I guess.
Right, because Calypso hates humanity, and she wanted every excuse to have that be a garden that this dragon that literally it seeps fear from every pore on its body or something.
From every pore on your body.
on your body or something. That's something that makes everybody horrified whenever they see
Something
it.
weird, or I can't remember, but
And,
yeah.
and they said if they do that, then the world will be destroyed, obviously, because then they didn't say anything about
But
like,
love
the Minotaurs.
conquers all, and Freddy saved her.
Love and teenage hormones.
Mic drop.
Probably more the teenage hormones.
Yeah,
But yeah.
true. Dude, I thought the unicorn scene was hilarious.
I was just about to say, I love the fact they did the straight up, like, evil version of unicorns, and
yeah.
he's like, oh no, unicorns aren't what you think they are.
loathe humanity.
He's like, they loathe humanity. Once he said that, I was like, oh, please deliver on this. And then, like, yeah, it's just this mean-looking horse with a horn and, like, armored-looking hooves almost, and just... I was like, oh,
When it gores the Minotaur, I was like, let's
dude,
go.
yeah, I was like,
That's fucking...
yeah,
The whole time,
let's go, motherfucker. I was like,
Taste the
rainbow,
motherfucker. She fed it Skittles.
Yeah, this is the closest thing we have to the nectar of the gods, Skittles. What? Oh, it's so
Dude,
so
yeah, that was awesome. Like,
But yes, immediately when they introduced him, I was just like, if he doesn't impale somebody, I want to be. And then immediately they just pay it off. Just,
and it was cool because, like, the first creature that comes out, you know, you see, like,
the wyvern, right?
The wyvern, yeah.
the very first creature that came out was the Chimera.
That's right.
It was a
Dude,
Chimera.
Oh, yeah,
and it actually looked good.
It did, like,
did
because
look
I
good.
think it showed the lion at first, and then it just the snake tail with the head at the end, and I just go, "Oh, that's a chimera!" I was like, "This is awesome! They're doing actual mythical creatures."
Dude,
and then like
yeah.
the ogre and the minotaur, and then the harpy, and I was like, "Oh, this is at least they're doing this part all fuck cool with the
Yeah.
Greek stuff."
I will say some people. Here's a positive, I guess, for me. Some people have been bashing on the CGI a little bit or the VFX. I didn't have that complaint,
Nope.
and they also the budget for this movie was $100 million, which I know is $100 million, but for like a superhero movie,
That's low.
that's low.
That's
It's
low.
actually half the price or half the cost that Black Adam was.
Wow.
So to me, I think the VFX actually looks pretty good, and I think that's
Yeah.
actually like a thumbs up to them for what their budget was. I think they delivered, especially
Dude,
with
if you-
all the type of monsters they had and everything.
If you make
Well-
that dragon look okay, which I thought
and I
they
thought
did.
the dragon looked pretty good.
Me too.
To
if you
me-
do that, then you did a
Me,
good
I was
job.
getting like
think people were
Lich
just-
King. Or
Yeah,
I
that's
was like,
exactly what I literally said.
we didn't get this far in the Warcraft movies, did we?
Right, yeah. So I think the reason for that is like, yeah, it's blatantly obvious it's all CGI on like the ogres and the minotaurs and stuff, but like, you know, lighting matters. And like when you have it in bright daylight, it's kind of hard to make that stuff when it's completely animated. It's hard to make it look however as realistic as you want it to look.
Right. And
However real you want this mythological, not real creature.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, guys, they can't make it real.
Right.
That's at the end of the day.
They gave you the giraffes, okay, and you bitched about those.
Yeah.
Not being real enough,
You
okay?
got a real giraffe and you still bitched. God. No, it looked good though. I didn't have a bitch with that.
So, favorite scene is, you know, the Billy sacrifice. I like the payoff of earlier in the movie when they're leaving. Everybody says, bye, Mom, bye, Mom. Billy doesn't say it back or just says bye.
He says
when
her
he-
name. He says her real name.
Yeah, it just says the name, and then she's kind of all like, but in this moment, about to sacrifice himself, and he actually calls her Mom, which I thought was really cool. I thought that was a nice payoff. These are the moments that I love.
Captain
the first,
Every Power Jr. to you.
Yeah. That was
him
funny.
and Freddie talking about. I was like, that whole scene is my favorite scene in the whole movie because that's, I think, was the best parts of the first one. Gets immediately almost ruined for me by the cameo. I don't know why I hated this cameo. I absolutely despise this cameo for multiple reasons, and I could be wrong about this, but the way they basically introduce magic and the gods in this universe or in this movie is very, very confusing to me. Because according to the Wonder Woman movies, the reasons there's no more gods is because Ares killed them all. In this universe, in this movie, it's because the wizard stole the staff and took all the gods' powers.
Atlas.
Also, then how was Wonder Woman born then if the powers were stolen?
Hold on. No, in this movie, the Titan Atlas had a staff that stole all their powers. Right.
Right.
And then
And gave powers.
and then well, yeah, he could freely take and give. Taking all for one.
Yeah.
Midoriya.
Hey, my favorite scene was anything with Steve in it, bro.
Okay, the pen notes, they were pretty good. Especially when she's reading it and Helen Mirren's so robotically toned as someone would be, like, of that nature. And she's, like, reading out how, like, they were clearly just having a conversation. I was dying laughing.
Oh, wait. Yeah. There we
wait.
go.
Oh,
that is
that is a good one, Eugene. All right, now say,
yeah.
Steve, did you get that down? Yes. Okay, send it. And
Should we proofread this? No, Steve never messes up.
But yes. So the only thing that I could think of, Jordan, of how that would connect is that Atlas stole all the gods' powers, which allowed Ares to kill them all.
I mean, that's the only way you're going to be able to retcon it now.
Retcon it, if you cared to retcon it, yeah. Ares
Of course,
killed
technically, Henry Cavill's Superman has never showed up in this universe, so this could be in the Guns universe. So maybe Ares doesn't kill all the gods in this one.
Maybe not.
But I still, at the same time, don't understand how Wonder Woman gets made then if Zeus doesn't have his powers. If there was no gods and they were trapped from this realm, how does Zeus send his little clay and morph? Or no, she doesn't morph, but how is he lightning the clay to make Wonder Woman? They basically created a story.
That's not how Wonder Woman was made.
Huh? But it's
I
like
believe Zeus and old Hippolyta
they set up this plot point
had a
in this
Saturday Night
movie,
Fever.
and the
He catch my
character they
drift.
introduce to solve this problem is almost a plot hole in its whole thing.
Those guys have.
Oh,
that guy.
All of them.
God, they had sex.
Not only just the good-looking ones, but even Granddaddy Palps gets love in that universe.
Right. Sorry.
I don't even know anymore.
Well, jokes are funny. Anyways, yeah, I guess that is an interesting thought. I didn't even think of that. That yeah, like technically they were talking about how like I guess yeah, in Wonder Woman, Ares killed all the gods, but yet in Shazam, Atlas stole all their powers. Who then Atlas lost the staff to the wizard and the wizard's buddies, who then monitored each power, and then that's how they chose champions. And yeah, it just doesn't make sense.
It's pretty arbitrary.
It immediately annoyed me. I just immediately noticed it. I
you
introduced the character that is like the biggest plot hole to this whole plot to begin with,
and the whole thing of okay, really on a serious actual note, I thought the whole Wonder Woman made of clay thing, I thought that was BS. And, like, she actually is like a live-born child, and that's why she's a demigod.
I don't know. I've never really read super hard into
comics.
I've always just been told that she got morphed into clay, and then Zeus struck her.
I hate to say it, but do you know why the cameo just annoyed me?
She wasn't actually there.
Huh?
Correct.
She wasn't actually there, and you can tell by how it's shot and edited. Which is why it looks so weird.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, she wasn't actually there.
There's only like one frame where you actually see people behind her, and it's because it's Shazam way behind her, so they can just blur him out and then just have her by herself.
So it really was entirely deep faked?
It wasn't deep faked.
Shot 2 scenes separately. The same scene separately.
Oh.
So yeah, she had a body double, which they've showed the picture of because they have her and Shazam in that restaurant scene. But then yeah, she also was the fill-in on that actual day. But yeah, Gal Gadot did film for that scene, but she just wasn't on set with any of it. She just did it all on her own. So they just basically had a green screen behind her. Weird. So that's why anytime it's actually up close to her and she's talking, it's literally bang, just her. Empty background, no people with her or anything, except for the final shot where she's walking away, and that's because that's just easy. You can film the one shot of Shazam, since he's going to be in the background out of focus anyway, and then just have Gal on a green screen again, and then just...
Okay. Well, now I don't want to say why I didn't like it.
Why didn't
the overly loud Wonder Woman theme. I didn't need it. Like banging, like in the theater, I'm just like... Like, it's just so, like,
I think
great piece of music, don't get me wrong, but it's so loud.
And they just stick it everywhere.
and yes.
I am all about the heroes having that's the one thing about DC that I think they did right, is all the heroes kind of have their own theme song. I love Wonder Woman's theme song. It should only be used for when she's fighting. Especially when it's after a main character death. We're all supposed to be Simon. All of a sudden, it's like, well, there's still one left, one demigod. You relax, you're not a full god, but I get your point. It's like, oh my! I just woke up from being sad. What happened? Why is loud noises?
Isn't it just her leg armor too? Like
it's literally like her. It's
like her calf armor. Just I'm like, what? Like,
yeah, so dude. I agree with you. Love the song.
Yeah.
Go a step further. Love that in the DC universe, everybody has their own theme song. Don't need to use it every single time they show up on screen, though. Like, use it for the impactful moments. And this kind of just felt like an off place to have that song. Better than Love You. Love You. Better than the...
Oh, are you talking about Aquaman?
No, and...
just in
the Snyder Cut, where it was like the earlier version
I don't like that.
Or whatever the vocals, and
he sent me a meme once. It was like Zack Snyder anytime he put Wonder Woman on the screen. I'm like, yeah, I hate that. It's
That's
just
like my number one gripe with them, and that Aquaman scene with the
The weird song that just, it's like...
I don't mind the song. It's the fact that the song dragged on for like...
Too long?
Well, like way too long. If they would have done like 5, maybe 10 seconds of it, like, okay, I get the point here. Like, worship him, blah, blah. But then it just keeps going. It goes like, I'm getting uncomfortable.
And and they just get really loud and just doing the loud song. I'm just like, I remember watching Snyder Cut and I was like, this is not it. But then as the movie went on, I was like, oh no, this is it.
Exactly.
Trust the process.
It's true.
We build a championship roster. But yeah, so again, 6 out of 10. It's entertaining. Did you call it a popcorn movie?
Yeah.
So, it's a popcorn flick.
Definitely agreed. Yeah, it's fun, entertaining, but
Yeah.
I have no interest in watching it again unless it's just.
Oh, I don't at all. I really don't.
I literally got home, had to piss super bad, standing there waiting to piss, and I was like,
Might just pee my pants. I'm so upset.
do I really care to see this movie again?
No.
No. If I had the choice, you can only rewatch the first one or the second one. Immediately, first one. Not even the first one. First one's amazing. That's got a special place in my
I honestly
heart.
got out of it, and I was like, well, kind of wish I could have treated that one like 1984 and just could have watched it from my couch when I wanted.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah.
Hopefully the Flash actually lives up to its hype, because, I mean, you said it. After Flash and Aquaman, be a minute before we get another DC major movie.
Yeah.
Oh, to close out. All right, so my verdict is out on Young Justice.
How far are you?
Not far, like 8 or 9 episodes in.
Uh-oh.
I love Aqualad.
Aqualad's dope.
I love Superboy.
I'm just personally not a big Superboy fan. I get tired of his tantrums.
That makes sense. And the rest, I don't know, Artemis seems interesting, but the rest, I'm like...
Artemis is cool.
I don't like how Miss Martian has to have apparently a catchphrase.
Oh, yeah.
Don't like that. Robin is just weird. And which Robin is it, by the way? Because they still haven't outright said it at the point where I'm at. Is it supposed to be...
Oh.
Is it Dick?
It's Dick, yeah.
He's weird.
Don't worry, they make him better eventually.
He, spoilers, he in the beginning, when I'm watching, he, disappears, he's like Batman, he'll just be gone, just disappears, and they'll be like, Robin, and then you'll hear in the background, they'll be like, hee ha ha, laughing like the Joker, and I'm just like, what the fuck? It's weird.
They,
literally, that weird little nerdy laugh I just did, it's weird.
He gets better. I'll say it. He gets better. I'll say it.
In the show? Yeah. There's 4 seasons, I hope so.
Yeah. Wasn't too thrilled how he was in the beginning either. But
no.
Gets better.
But
100% agree. Aquaman.
And is this the new 52 iterations? I'm assuming it is, because I think Jason Ackles is the voice of Batman.
Honestly, I can't remember enough to when that came out.
I think it's the new 52 versions. Because Wally West is the Kid Flash.
I mean, I hate to ask this question. Well, actually, I don't know how it is in the animated shows, but I mean, is Wally West a ginger, or is he mixed? Because he's
a ginger in this.
So then, no, it's not New 52.
Okay.
New 52, he's mixed.
Like he was in the Flash CW show.
Yes.
Okay.
And then, after the New 52 wraps up, both that Wally West and Ginger Wally West.
Well, the reason I was confused...
both exist.
Well,
it's really confusing, and I'm just like, why did you guys do this? This is why you should have just made a whole new kid.
Well, why I'm confused is because Aqualad, I think... So, has Aqualad always been an African-American? or is
granted, never really until Jeff Johns started writing Aquaman. Didn't read a lot of Aquaman comics because he was kind of a joke. But the one from Young Justice is the one I'm familiar with. I'll just put it that way. And yes, he's a baller and awesome.
Yeah, he's the only character that's
I remember, I think, like, growing up, I think the reason I didn't read Aquaman is I think I thought Aqualad was just cooler, because he was. His arms light up and shit. It's dope.
It is pretty dope.
But actually, I need to go back and rewatch, because I don't even think I watched the newest seasons that dropped when they brought that back and then canceled it again. The holy duo of pop culture, Marvel, Star Wars, and then the stepchild, DC.
The stepchild, DC.
So yeah, I think
I think that wraps up this week, huh, boys?
Yeah, I think this might be our longest one yet.
Probably. We should shorten this one up. We'll shorten this one up.
No,
it's going long.
Well, that's the second
That's
one.
the second half, though.
Well, how long was the first half?
A little over an hour. I think it was an hour 17, so yeah, I think we hit the...
I think 3 hours.
Boys,
I think 3 hours has been like our longest one.
We are inching ever so closely to that Snyder Cut mark. I will officially break it up into 6 part. I'll do it part 1.
I was gonna say I want black screen with white font screen titles. Chapter 1: James Gunn's tweets.
Alrighty, well.
Chapter 2: Other DC news.
Well, thank you guys so much for having tuned in and stuck in with us this morning.
We're losing it.
I am. I'm here way later than I wanted to be. I will not lie.
Yeah, I won't lie. Not that you guys will know until I post this on Twitter. It might end up being a Wednesday release now.
I would say that's probably a good call, Jay, because when I get home, I have to immediately fold laundry that I left in my dryer like an idiot, and then I am going to go to sleep.
I do not blame you. So,
yeah,
let's just plan on Wednesday morning release. So if you're still here, thanks. Give us a like, comment. What you guys think of Shazam? And
oh god,
if
the audience scores are good.
Saw it, because again,
if you saw it.
Yeah, who saw this?
According to our theory you're in, you guys weren't there.
Yeah.
They're all watching Creed.
So hey,
I need to see that.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, and then obviously on YouTube, obviously watching here. But if you need an audio only version, we are on Spotify and Podbean, so you can find us over there. So until next time, I'm your boy Jay Sib.
I'm KP
And the Bull.
See ya later.